Welcome, champs, to the 21st episode of the Not So Subtle podcast. Guys, we're legal. We're ready to drink.
You stole my joke.
Oh my god, damn it.
I didn't know what exactly it would be.
That was the easiest one to make.
That was the easiest joke of all.
Yeah.
Guys, it's our 21st birthday. That's how it works, right?
Yeah.
Guys, it's our 21st birthday, and thus we'll all have our first sip of alky.
Cheers.
The first time we ever drank. Guys, I'm here with Jordan Miller.
Hi.
And Dan Lapointe.
Hello.
A.k.a. Dane.
Dan Lapointe.
Dan Lapointe.
Dan Lapoon, as they call me.
Is that French?
Yes, and.
I decline. I decline comment. No, yeah, it is.
Okay.
I don't want anyone to know my racial heritage.
Yeah. Lest they embarrass you in public.
I'm French. Get at me.
Sure you are.
No, I'm not.
Guys,
I'm not French at all. It's a French last name.
We have a lot to talk about. We missed a couple weeks.
It was Thanksgiving. Huh?
It's okay.
Who can blame us?
We had some turkey dinner, and we're coming back fresh, a belly full of grub. Do you guys have mac and cheese at your...
No, never, not once, ever.
At your Thanksgiving?
And I won't ever.
I feel like some years, possibly. This year I did not.
Mm-hmm. We do sometimes when we make dinner, but we didn't this year. We went out.
It's funny how...
I saw that you went out to a...
I wasn't talking. It's okay. Go ahead.
Come on, Vega, let's hear it.
No, go ahead.
Come on, let's hear it. No, really, I want to hear you.
It's not important. Go ahead, Colter.
No,
so
that was
I
it.
heard
I just
that
went
you
out.
went to an Italian restaurant.
Yeah, it's an Italian restaurant, but they were serving turkey dinners too. So, I guess that's.
Is that what
thing.
you got? Or
yes.
Okay.
We all actually, every single one of us got the turkey dinner, even though they had like 4 options, including salmon and other stuff.
I'll be honest. I would have gone for the salmon as opposed to turkey.
Yeah, turkey is the worst of the. Not the worst of the meats, but
it's the worst part of Thanksgiving dinner.
It's the worst. Yeah, probably that's true.
Like,
this is the most boring part.
Well, I realized that I had known this before about myself, but this year I went and I devoured everything on my plate, and the turkey was left. I'm like, I didn't even eat it. I literally didn't eat it. I had one bite of it. I was like, oh.
They gave us like 4 thick-ass pieces of turkey, and I absolutely didn't eat it all. I'm like, why are you giving us so much?
I like the wing part. The wing meat is nice, but just like turkey, like breast, like the middle of the turkey
dry.
is it's dry.
It's very dry.
I don't like it. So yeah, I'll go for the stuffing. I'll go for like the green beans. We had like some cream corn, like some cranberry, like the typical, like all the typical stuff.
Some dish fish. Now we have to bring
some dish fish.
We're back.
The stuffing muffin cupping.
Our first episode, we brought up Thanksgiving, and now we're here.
And now we're here, boys.
It's come full circle.
Alton Brown, bless us.
We're finally legal.
We're finally legal.
21 years later, we finally made it.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just realized at the end, I was like, I loved everything on this plate, but I can't eat the turkey.
Yeah.
I just don't like it.
The food actually was quite good at this particular Italian restaurant.
Can you name? Was it Olive Garden?
No, it was excuse me.
Ballard.
It was it was in Federal Way, which is I don't want to say exactly where I live.
That's a drive.
Or where we live.
That's a drive.
But it's not close to Seattle, which is our general area. Sure. So, I mean, it is close. It's like, Anyways, this is dumb, but it's a little bit of a drive.
Just want to know the restaurant.
Yeah, we went to a restaurant because my family's kind of spread out across Washington. So, yeah. Anyways, I have a little question for you guys.
Hit me.
Just real quick. Something to start off light. As I was going home today to get ready for the podcast, it was about 7:00 p.m. and I was going through, a neighborhood residential area, and I saw about 10 people walking their dogs at 7:00 p.m. at night. Is that weird?
Yes.
A little bit, yeah.
For the time of year, like for this time of year, yes. For summertime, no.
Yeah, I mean, like, at 7:00 right now, it's pitch black outside.
Yeah.
Which makes sense that they're walking in a group, probably to stay safe.
No, they weren't walking in a group. This is separate people.
You just mean, like, you just, like, in general, in this same neighborhood, you saw... Is it our neighborhood?
Yeah. I literally saw about...
That's not that weird because...
10, at least 5.
I mean, don't people have backyards? Like...
I mean, that's not that weird because our neighborhood is super pretentious, and people, like... like it's not like we're rich, but you know what I mean. Like our neighborhood, like the people with their dogs, like
It's gentrified.
it's just a bunch of white people with their poodles and shit. Like, it's not surprising to me that would happen. I think it is strange.
Yeah, I've never
It's
seen
very
so many.
dark outside.
I was just like, is this dog walking hour? Like, who chooses to do this at this
Now,
time?
were they
And
doing that annoying ass thing where they have like their little safety blinkers on or whatever? So, they
So
don't get,
here's
like,
the
a
deal.
car doesn't run up on the curb.
That's
and kill them
exactly
and
what I want to
Poodle
address.
Pete.
Poodle Pete. The reason I wanted to bring that up is because I was thinking, like, do you guys want to get your dog killed? Like, do you want me to run over your dog? Serious question. Do you want me to kill your dog? Because I can't see you.
Because I can't see you.
I can't
That's
see
what I
you,
mean.
and your dog is about to go under my tire.
That's what I mean. Like you'll see these people who go out for like midnight runs or whatever, right? Who are like, oh, gotta like grind never stops. Gotta get these Thanksgiving calories off or whatever. And it's like that's fine.
Schedule's a
Yeah,
schedule.
they're all Chad.
Sure, and they're all Chad, and then they put their little like fucking safety vest on, like their reflective safety vest.
But Colter, you're saying they didn't have the vest. You couldn't see them.
That's what I mean. Like that's weird. That's strange.
That they didn't have the vest, or they did have a vest.
I don't like when they have the vest, but it's weird that they don't because it's so dark.
You're
out.
anti-safety.
I mean, I'm all about fashion, and I feel like it's not good. It's not fashionable.
That's like when you guys don't pick up a helmet in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
That's right,
I don't
because
pick up
it looks bad.
The level 1 helmet makes you look like a goof. The level 2 helmet is a military helmet. Plus, I have the gas mask on. It fits, but
You're swagging out with the level 2.
the motorcycle helmet, it just looks super dumb. So
It does actually look
pass.
dumb. You have like a spaceman helmet on.
yeah, it just looks
They
stupid.
might as well make it a spaceman
I'm
helmet.
about the aesthetic Colter.
The aesthetic culture, the aesthetic Colter.
I switched from those camo pants to jeans. I gotta say, the jeans in that game, they're looking really fresh.
They're more fresh than any other.
Like,
They're
pants,
nice.
I suppose.
They're a nice pair of jeans. I want to buy a pair of those jeans.
Look, why do you think I've been dressing as Avril Lavigne? Nice jeans.
Thought you liked her. I don't know.
I mean, she's cool. She's fine, but like,
She's looking
Have
good.
you guys heard the conspiracy theory that Avril Lavigne is actually dead? And
Yes.
the current Avril Lavigne is just a puppet in
It's just
place
like
by the man.
by the Illuminati.
Yeah.
That's the only answer.
Yeah.
pretty wild,
I heard
right?
about that on the
I've heard that, and I
H3
wholeheartedly
podcast.
believe it.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact evidence to support that, but I doubt it's convincing.
Absolutely. There's some goofy ass thing where it was like, at one point, I feel like there was one point where it was like, oh, look at the way she's holding like her hands, or like look at which hand she's using to like shake hands, or like, or at one point in her career she was really friendly with her fans and shaking their hands, and now she doesn't do it. It must be a different person. Or it's like, what? Like,
Yeah.
what are you people talking about?
That's
No,
strange.
she would never walk her dog with the left hand.
Yeah.
No.
She would always wear a blinker.
She would never walk her
She
dog
would never
at
walk her
7
dog
o'clock
at
p.m.
yeah. God damn it.
They just have a photo of her like with the flash on. Everything is illuminated. She's just walking her dog, and she's like looking at the camera like, what?
Oh God.
7 p.m. at night.
To bring
They
back
just
that-
have a bunch of pictures of her throughout the years, all walking her dog at like 5:58 p.m., like 4:52 p.m., and it's like nope, 7 p.m. can't be
That's
her.
fake.
It
That's
breaks
a
the pattern.
puppet.
Yeah, it's
That's a clone.
that's a husk.
I think they actually think it's a clone.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
I think that is actually.
They cloned why of all people? Why would they clone Avril Lavigne?
Keep up the facade, man.
No one gives a fuck about
Avril
Avril
Lavigne-
Lavigne.
Wake up, sheep.
She hasn't put out an album in like 45 years.
Avril
Yeah.
Lavigne knew too much.
Yeah, because the clone can't sing. Oh my god, you're a puppet.
She was,
the
she
clone
was-
can't sing, obviously.
she knew like that the masses would respond to her saying, "Why does everything have to be so complicated?"
She knew too much.
She knew about the skater boy, who was actually the second shooter on the grassy knoll at the JFK shooting.
And then she said, "See you later, boy," and we never knew who it was.
she said, "See you later, boy,"
Thank
because
you.
she killed him.
But yeah,
She executed him. His name was Jack Ruby.
I do think that it's a little weird that people are walking around this late at night because it's very dark outside. It's also cold, and
It was very cold tonight. Yeah.
yeah. Wear a little blinker or something so we can see you if you're walking.
Yeah. I definitely
for
saw
safety.
someone with a straight up like construction man's
Yeah, I've
vest.
seen that. I see a lot of people with like the things that you see on the back of bikes, the little like red reflectors, but
Just blinker ass
yeah.
looking.
Just wear some Christmas lights. It's the season, right? We're past Thanksgiving. We're into Christmas town now.
Tis the sieving. All right, next topic.
All right, moving on.
All right, so
Nice
wait,
segue.
really quick. Did we ever decide? Did we talk about Christmas music and all that kind of stuff?
We might as well bring it up now.
Did we ever talk about that on like
hard to say.
last
Not
podcast
sure.
or Halloween or something?
Definitely
No.
not last
okay,
podcast.
okay. So
Maybe back in the day on the Dish Fish episode.
okay, yeah. So we might have
21
just
years
had this
ago.
conversation in general, but Are you guys like? Okay, so here's why I asked, because maybe let's see, Thanksgiving. I think I want to say like 2 or 3 days before Thanksgiving, my parents put up the Christmas lights, and so I come home, the Christmas lights are up, and I'm thinking, okay, like getting ahead of the game, I get it. It's before Thanksgiving.
It's too early,
which is unusual, and I don't like it, and I'm not okay with it. And I like the Christmas lights. I'm fine with this, but I'm thinking to myself, historically, even in our neighborhood, like we were one of the first. Even my dad mentioned it. He was like, "Oh, we're like one of the first people to have the lights up." Yeah, because you never put your Christmas lights up before Thanksgiving.
Literally, the day after Thanksgiving is fine. Don't. It's like it's not Christmas season until after Thanksgiving.
There are some rules in this world, right? Never wear white after Labor Day. Don't put your fucking Christmas lights up before
That's
Thanksgiving.
A very important one.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure there's other ones. Those are the only ones that matter to me.
Never drink a full-size Choco 40 in one sitting.
That's right. If it says it's 4 servings, you're going to split it up in 4 servings.
Actually, the fourth rule is just respect the serving label on the back of any item that you eat.
Yeah.
They're there for a
That's true.
reason.
The fourth rule is to always check the expiration date on whatever you're eating or drinking.
Okay.
So those are the rules that are set in place, and I feel like we've broken one of those by putting up Christmas lights before Thanksgiving. When is it... 2 questions. When is it okay to put up your Christmas lights? Do we agree that it's after Thanksgiving?
I'd say that's appropriate, yes.
Okay. As a hard rule.
Yeah.
Penalty by death if you do it any earlier.
Well, I have a whole thing that I believe... We talk sometimes about the infantilization of America.
That's right.
That's a plague that's going around.
That you two are spreading.
That I'm spreading. No,
Let
I'm saying it ironically because I don't care about the infantilization.
I'm a mature person.
All right.
I'm
an adult.
If you're not up to date on that, that's just kind of, infantilizing means to make similar to a baby or an infant, which Jordan has a severe problem with sometimes.
Sometimes it depends on the context.
Yeah. We talk about that, somewhat ironically, but it is a plague.
Yeah.
Anyways.
It's a bit tongue-in-cheek for me, but honestly, there are some things that are like, come on,
that's a baby.
That's a baby.
That's an infant boy.
We don't even, it's a silly baby joke.
But there's another issue, okay? It's the Nazification of Christmas. When did we get so many rules, and why? Who decided them, and why do we need to follow them?
Well, I mean, the thing is, people don't follow them, which is why we have a situation like Dane's parents. They've broken the rule.
Look, listen, I love my parents, but I'm just saying...
They're part of the problem.
You can't do that. You can't do it.
You gotta tell them right now.
Why?
Mom, Dad,
I don't understand why.
I'm sorry that you have to hear it this way, but we gotta take down the lights.
Because it's a slippery slope, Colter. If we start doing before Thanksgiving, oh, what's next? We're gonna do it before Halloween. Like, oh, great. And then,
what's next? Oh, we finished Easter.
Yeah. Like,
what else comes
joke's
before?
Like, oh, it's Christmas in July. Let's have like that dumb thing. We're actually gonna have Christmas lights in July, and that's dumb. We can't have that.
Yeah.
The one good point that you guys have is that there's a special feeling during the Christmas time. And if you spread that out throughout the whole year, it won't be special.
It loses the magic if you're just constantly
That's a real argument. Okay,
Yeah,
I agree with that. But if you're naming an exact date in December, like December 20th, it's not okay to listen to Christmas music before that point.
No,
that's unacceptable.
I don't mean that. I mean like there's a whole like there's a lot of things associated with Christmas, right? There's like the cold weather. There's just the like overall feeling of like, people putting up lights downtown or whatever, or like you're putting up wreaths
Santa's
on your
breath
doors.
on your neck.
Yeah, there's
Santa Claus.
Sure, you see all these fat dudes walking around in Santa costumes. You see people taking pictures at the malls, right? Like this is all stuff that goes along with Christmas. That can only last for so long. I can only tolerate that for so long.
Yeah.
There's only so many wreaths and Christmas lights and like, street sweepers in Redmond disguised as like Holiday Express trains. Like I can only see that I can't see that for 2 months straight. Like 1 month is fine.
So can I compromise?
It's very overbearing. That's what I mean. Like it's very like during Christmas, everyone's like, holy shit, it's Christmas. Let's have all of our drinks be, peppermint flavored, and let's have all of our desserts have like red and white stripes on it, and everyone goes crazy. I can handle that for a month.
What's your compromise?
Well, I'm just saying, how about we do a marijuana situation where if it's in the privacy of your own home, if you're like of age, not affecting anyone, not hurting anyone, not impairing yourself. I mean, you're impairing yourself, but anyways, if you're not hurting anyone else, let them do what they want. So let me listen to Christmas music in July.
That's fine.
In the privacy of my own home.
But the thing...
Without shaming me.
Like, the thing is, we're shaming people who are actively putting up lights and blaring music and doing the stuff well before Christmas. It's like, it's not even past Thanksgiving. We're not even done with the turkeys. We're not done with that stuff yet. And instead, we're already putting up Christmas lights. It's too much.
Okay.
Rein it in a little bit. So
I guess I see the argument.
Preserve just the special month. It's fine at 1 month, but... And also, if you listen to music by yourself, like, I don't care, but... I don't want to hear the same 12 songs every single day for 3 months, That's called the radio.
Yeah,
Boom.
One thing I gotta say, don't ever fucking play Santa Baby around me. I don't want to hear it.
Okay.
I don't want to hear it.
That's fine.
I'll listen to anything else. Throw on some, like, Frank Sinatra... Like some, classic stuff is fine. I don't want to hear Santa Baby. I don't want to hear it.
I think that's a good topic for the next few weeks to talk about our favorite Christmas songs.
How many times we've heard Santa Baby and how close we are to throwing ourselves off the sky bridge at Bellevue Square?
Which songs make us want to do that the most?
Santa
and
Baby.
The least
the
is
least.
going to be our next question.
Okay.
Least is Love You Need You by Slushy. Fantastic
Let's just
song.
stop.
Slushy, it's like Christmas because it's slushy outside.
Yeah.
So it's basically a Christmas song. But we listen to it year round. What do you think about that?
Because it's just a good-ass song.
Because it's just a hot jam.
Yeah, it's just a great song. All right.
I'm just going to put... I have like a dope-ass... Actually, I don't know where it is now, but I'm sure it's on iTunes. Or Spotify, actually. It's a dope-ass Halloween medley CD with, like, the Monster Mash and all the classic Halloween songs. I'm going to throw that on and be contrarian.
Slushy.
I'm just going to listen to a bunch of Halloween music instead of Christmas music.
Oh, okay. I'm
going to flip the tables a little bit.
Yeah, I thought you were saying you're going to listen to Love You Need You on that playlist.
Oh, no. I hate that song.
You should. You can put that song on any playlist and it will work, so...
Okay.
Apple Music should actually default that to being in every playlist that they have. Anyways.
Moving on.
Guys, we do talk about pop culture, movies, television, music.
We do? I forget.
Video
games.
We often forget, or we often leave video games till last, and we're going to do that this time.
Got 'em!
But we can't, we have to say that video games are our baby and our love. So if you consistently skip the video game section, don't do that.
Oh. Video games
I have a lot
life.
of passion for video games.
Yeah.
It's also all I have. Just in general.
It's a fascinating part of culture.
Let's dig in deeper on that.
Let's not.
All right. Guys, we watched some movies. We watched
We each watched movies, and we watched a movie together.
Yeah. Should we talk about the wacky film first?
Sure.
Or should we talk about the Actually, let's intersperse some movies, because we have a lot. So let's do not the wacky film first. What should we do?
Murder on the Orient Express.
All right. So there is a new movie out called Murder on the Orient Express. Is that racist? Question of the week.
Yes. No, it's not. No. Look, it was a different time. This movie was set in not now. It was during racist time.
Mm-hmm. I'm not certain.
It's actually a book first.
Yeah.
By Agatha Christie.
Agatha Christman.
I'm not certain that title
Agatha
is
Christ.
racist. If you were directing that term at a person, it's a different story, I feel like. But
are we still allowed to refer to that region of the world as the Orient?
You shouldn't. You have a map. You
we
know what it's called.
shouldn't, but that's the time that we were in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, the movie was a book originally by Agatha Christie. It is a mystery.
It's a very famous book.
She is a mystery author, I think.
Mm-hmm. A British
couldn't tell you that.
I think they've made a lot of. I know they've done a lot of BBC stuff about her. Many series and short films and films.
Fair. So yeah, this movie has a star-studded cast. I'm not going to name them all, but Johnny Depp is in it. Suffice it to say.
Johnny Depp, Daisy Ridley.
No, say all of them.
Let's go through all of them. There's a lot of people in there.
Yeah. The most interesting ones being Daisy Ridley, Johnny Depp, and Josh Gad.
Josh Gad, yeah.
Who's Josh Gad?
He did the voice of Olaf in Frozen. That's basically
sorry I
his
asked.
his claim to fame.
No, but he's been in he was in a big.
He was the teacher in School of Rock.
Jack Black.
He's been in bigger live action
Jack
stuff
Black?
recently.
That's weird. Huh. We don't need to look it up. It's fine.
Yeah, he was in some
Well, I'm
live action
curious
stuff, but I
anyway.
feel like it was after Frozen.
Okay. Anyways, what is this story about?
Oh, he was the dunce in Fantastic Beasts, right?
No,
Was he not?
no, that was the guy from Balls of Fury, who's
Oh,
also
okay,
a Jack
yeah,
Black
yeah.
ass guy. I actually love that actor. He's great. So yeah, this movie is just a mystery, and it involves all these people being on a train. Someone gets murdered on the train, and then there's a very famous detective that's also on the train, and he has to
Hercule Poirot.
solve the mystery.
It's a whodunit.
So really quickly, we're gonna give our summarized thoughts on this movie. So I thought it was good. All right,
This is all we're
next
doing.
film. No, yeah,
Dan, you saw it too,
yeah.
right?
I did see it. I liked it. It was okay. So, funny story. I went and saw this. It was on Black Friday, so I didn't go on Thanksgiving like you did, but I went the day after. And the movie theater I went to, as soon as this was maybe like midday Black Friday, so it was like 2-3 p.m. something like that. I walk into the theater, and it's just filled to the brim. Not to the brim, but it's pretty full.
Mm-hmm. This wasn't a reserved seating.
All people, no, it's this was at Bella Bottega.
All right.
So, yeah, no, not reserved seating, but filled with people who were just about to crumble into dust. Like they, like 80, like they looked like. Who I was with, I was joking. I said, okay, so they have the matinee special, and then they have the graveyard special, where if you get to the theater before you die, you get like a discounted rate, because these people were so old. Like, it's like when they went to the theater, and you go through like every movie at the theater that was playing. The only one where this would happen would be Murder on the Orient Express, just because of it's an old book. It was an old movie.
Yeah.
It's like a perfect movie for old people to see. That being said, I liked it.
Yeah.
It was good.
You're an old soul.
I guess it was. I guess probably part of that is that it felt like an old movie. Like, it had a very. It was slow. Not in like. It wasn't boring, but it was a very slow burn, and it was the pacing I thought was pretty good, but it was just very methodical, and there wasn't a lot of like bombastic action or like crazy sex scenes or anything like that. Like, it was just this like old-fashioned mystery movie. Very character driven. There's a lot of dialogue. It's just a lot of like talking and like sleuthing and stuff like that. So it was good, but it was reminiscent of a different time from movies. Mm-hmm. Like, it did not feel like a modern movie.
Yeah,
In some ways it did.
It made me want more mystery movies, because I feel like there's not enough.
Mm-hmm.
We need more clues in the world. I wonder if anyone's seen that this week.
That would be amazing if they had.
Clues.
Clue.
What a transition.
By the way, I'll never see Murder on the Orient Express. Seems boring as hell to me, but just want to state that.
I mean, I'll be honest. It could definitely be seen as quite boring for a lot of people. I enjoyed it.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess if you're not into that, like, I don't know. I didn't think it was super slow, and I thought it was visually compelling enough to like be interested in throughout the whole thing.
It was well directed. I thought it was pretty good. There was a little bit too much CGI.
Yeah, you could tell that some of the like grandiose shots were set up using CGI, but
Yeah, like a lot of that seemed a little bit
train?
lazy to me. No, the train stuff was
the train,
all
like inside the train, was all physical, obviously. But
yeah, but like
they used a lot of big, like exterior shots,
Oh,
like
yeah.
the setting of it.
like
'Cause
when
it's
they're
kind of a grandiose setting.
when they're leaving, like when the train is departing, it's like it is only CGI.
It turns into Tintin.
Yeah, it's only the whole thing is just CGI. The city, all the people, like the surrounding landscapes, like everything is just CGI.
But the art direction for that was really good, though.
It all
It looked good.
The movie looked good, but there was just moments in there where I was like, they were probably just like, all right, let's get to the train part, let's get to the murder. Like, they just threw out CGI, and it seemed a little lazy at parts, but
I suppose.
yeah, it was good.
The one other thing was that this movie, I thought it was similar to a Wes Anderson movie because they were trying to they had like big ideas for like the visuals, but I actually liked it more than I would like a Wes Anderson version of this movie because it wasn't as quirky and it was more straightforward. Because I feel like Wes Anderson movies can sometimes get bogged down in the artsiness of it and like distract from what's happening and like actually writing a good story. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. If you like Wes Anderson but you want something more straightforward, this is good.
I thought the dialogue was actually pretty good for the most part in this movie too.
I'd agree with that.
The fact that it was very dialogue driven, I feel like the movie definitely could have faltered heavily if it was just badly written or like boringly written. But I would say I was pretty engaged in a lot of the conversations, and there was also lots of twists. It was one of those things where like right when it starts out, you're like, okay, yeah, I know that's gonna be blah blah, like this makes sense. But then
never mind. As
you go along, like you keep thinking, you keep kind of like piecing stuff together for yourself, but then they throw a little like wrench in the works every so often, and as a good murder mystery, it kept you guessing until the end.
Yeah,
which is good.
Turns out the train was the killer all along.
The train.
Turned out that man was the enemy to nature.
Man turns out that it was
the true monster.
Final Destination, and the train like slowly like destroyed itself.
Just ate itself.
Just the train just imploded.
Fell apart.
Got him.
At the seams.
Yeah, no, it was good.
Nice.
Not the typical movie I would see, but it was good.
All right.
How were the clues?
The clues. Well, Jordan, it's interesting.
I know a movie that did Clue better than that.
What's a better murder mystery?
Well, let me clue you in.
General Mustard with the
Colonel
candlestick?
Mustard. Are you kidding me? He's not a general.
He got an upgrade, okay?
No, fuck you.
Got a promotion.
Guys, I watched the original Clue, 1980 something on. Who cares? It was the 80s version of Clue. This movie should be terrible. It shouldn't be good.
It has no right to be a decent.
It has no right to be a good movie. But look, it has Tim Curry in it, so it's bound to be a fantastic movie.
Doesn't it have a few decent like big names?
It does. It has Christopher Lloyd in there.
Okay.
It has who is very funny. It has
Chris Pratt.
It has Chris Pratt. No, it has Tim Curry, and it has a few other big names from the time.
Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
I don't know who that is. Yeah, no, it was really good actually. This is a cult. From what I understand, this is a cult classic. It's a favorite of. I'm assuming the generation that watched it when it first released because it's very weird. It's not really what I expected either. I thought it would be a kind of like a dark comedy, which it is a dark comedy, but there's a lot of physical comedy in it. There's like a lot of. Have you guys seen Airplane?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So it's a lot like Airplane, where there's a lot of like the jokes are just so rapid fire and so stupid and very dry that when you hear it, you're like, did they just? And then it just keeps going.
That's great.
And it just keeps going and like and the delivery from everyone in there. Everyone in there has a time to shine, like a moment to shine at some parts. And like collectively they have a lot of like funny group moments where they're just being ridiculous. I question if some of it was improv, but I also wonder it's similar to what I was saying with What We Do in the Shadows, where at any moment they were probably just like breaking down laughing really hard after a scene. And throughout the movie I just had like a blast watching it because it was like the most absurd film that I've seen in a long time. It was really good.
Was it Colonel Mustard with the candlestick?
Colonel Mustard is in there. I don't think he was the one with the candlestick. The way that they introduce all of the like clue elements from the board game is actually hilarious because like this isn't a spoiler, but they all show up at the house. However way they show up, they all eventually get there. Tim Curry is the butler, and he's like this really like eccentric, like crazy butler guy, and he plays it perfectly because he's Tim Curry. He's awesome. So they're doing this whole thing, and then he's like, oh, or like the host who has invited you will be here soon, and he shows up, and the guy's name is Mr. Body. And of course, he's the one who gets killed. And so then they're like, well, we have to go get there's a lot of jokes about like, we have to go get the body, or we have to go get body or whatever. But they're really just talking about, they're like, wait, are you talking about like the body, or are you talking about like Mr. Body?
That's a good running joke.
Yeah, it's great. And then like the way that they introduce like the candlestick, the gun, like the knife, all that kind of stuff is just absurd. And it's, when you're watching it, you're thinking like at every turn, you're like, this is it should be a bad movie. Like this is a bad setup for a movie, but it's actually great.
But it's good.
It's really good. I would recommend watching it.
Nice. I want to watch it.
If you like Airplane, you will love this movie.
Let's go.
It's very reminiscent of Airplane in terms of like that style of humor.
My favorite part in Airplane is where he says, "Let's fucking go."
Let's fucking go, dude.
Which one is a better murder mystery? Murder on the Orient Express or Clue?
Okay, so the Clue actually does have a good mystery element to it.
Okay.
Like when I was watching it towards the end, I thought to myself, and they play with the viewer a little bit. There's a part at the end where you're like, okay, they just totally played me. Like they just fuck with your head a little bit.
Damn.
It's pretty great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and they do it multiple times actually. I think partway towards the end of that movie, they're like, well, we don't really give a fuck anymore. We're just gonna we're just gonna mess with whoever is watching this. We're gonna go all in. It was good. It was good stuff. I would say I actually enjoyed the mystery elements of Clue better than Murder on the Orient Express.
That's only because
it shouldn't have been good.
That's fair.
Like it should have all been bad, but it was actually good.
It's always nice when you don't expect anything from a movie and then it is way better. That's like
it was set up for me before as being like, okay, this is a weird, dumb movie, but it's hilarious and it's a classic. And so I was kind of going in like not expecting like an Oscar-winning film, but expecting like a fun ride. And I definitely got that.
Cool.
It was a good movie. Would recommend.
10 out of 10.
It's for comedies. It's up there for me.
It's a perfect film.
Damn.
I don't want to say 10 out of 10. I don't know what I'd give it. Maybe like an 8.
Fair enough.
Candlestick out of a Colonel Mustard.
I'll give it a Colonel Mustard in the parlor room out of Mrs. White in the atrium.
Nice.
There's actually Miss Scarlet, I think, is one of them. Let's just name as many as we can come up with.
Mr. Right. Plum.
They do
Colonel Mustard.
It's Dr. Plum.
Let's go around the circle until we
He's a doctor. He's a learned doctor.
I'm sorry.
He went to Plum College. No, they do have all the rooms too.
That's good.
Like they do have all of the elements of Clue. But
fair enough.
Yeah, you should watch that movie.
All right. Well, we've got a mystery theme going because we saw the movie Memento.
We did?
A.k.a. Memento. I don't know if we've seen it.
When
I haven't
did we
taken a
watch that?
picture.
Wait, we actually wrote it down.
I don't know.
Oh my God.
I don't know when. Yeah, we actually wrote it down.
Isn't that weird?
On a piece of paper.
What the hell?
And we drew it out of a bag, not a hat.
We watched Memento?
Whoa, hold on. Yep, we did.
Weird.
That reminds me of that scene in the Scooby-Doo live-action film where they switch bodies and then he becomes Daphne. Shaggy in Daphne's body, I think.
No, it's Fred in Daphne's body.
Oh, yeah, my bad. That makes complete sense because he looks down at his breasts.
That's a common trope. That happens in Your Name. Do you remember that when they first switched
bodies? They did it better.
I'll say that. Because then Fred, this is a seminal classic line. He says, "I can look at myself naked." In that exact tone of voice.
Honestly,
look up the clip.
Honestly, I'm going to go on record and say that the live-action Scooby-Doo
Don't say something you'll regret.
criminally offensive.
Fuck off.
It's offensive.
Freddie Prinze Jr.
Bold take.
Is a great person and he's hilarious. So
Freddie Prinze Jr. may as well be dead.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I love that movie. We can talk about that sometime. But yeah. Anyways, we got somewhat off topic. I'll say that. Guys, we saw Memento. And if you don't know, this is a movie from Christopher Nolan, who directed Inception, Dark Knight Rises, The Dark Knight Comes Back,
Interstellar,
Dunkirk, Dunkirk, yeah. That was
Most of those are great movies.
fair.
Dark Knight.
I believe this was, I'm not going to say his first movie because I don't know that for 100% sure.
His first movie was The Following. I believe this was his second movie.
All right. So, yeah.
I'm not going to go on record. It's it's definitely his earliest, like, well-known movie.
For sure.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's would you say a cult classic film?
I looked this up. So, just to preface this, I looked it up on IMDb when we were starting it. It's sitting at around an 8.5 with almost 1 million reviews. And it's number 49 on the IMDb Top 200. Mm-hmm. So, it's very well regarded.
Yeah. I don't know if it's cult classic, but it's definitely well regarded.
Yeah.
I would say this is the 49th best movie I've ever seen.
That's a bold claim.
I'm prepared to say, I can say with 100% certainty that this is the 49th best film of all time.
Definitely ranks in my top 50.
So, yeah, let's get into it. Let's say each of our broad opinions first. Jordan.
I thought that... How do I begin with this? I felt like the beginning of the movie starts off pretty interesting when you learn like the premise that he has short-term memory loss, the main character, and so he's going through all these motions. And the beginning was super interesting, but like the middle act of that movie just dragged for me. Like I didn't was ready to write the movie off like towards the end until the actual end of the movie was like a major, like they waited until the very, very end to shake things up, and it was actually pretty interesting.
But the last like 10 minutes.
Yeah, like they literally waited till the very end of the movie to finally tie everything together, which was like it made it worth watching, but it takes forever and a half to get to like an interesting point. Because I got the way the movie is framed is that things are constantly going backwards, and it was really like I got annoyed when we keep rewatching like. They play the scene from the beginning, and then it goes back a little bit further, and then you see the end of the first scene you saw, and it's constantly playing like in reverse, but like chronologically, it's just like playing from the backwards to the beginning of when things happen, and it just is. I like that idea, but I don't know if that was worth like watching all of it, multiple scenes repeatedly. Mm-hmm. I still think that ending
it wasn't
was super
full
interesting.
Scenes repeatedly.
It's not. They do cut off, but like you're like. Just seeing that stuff over and over again, I was like, okay, I get it. Like, I know what happened 10 minutes earlier. I saw that. You don't need to like keep doing this over and over again. But I do think the ending is a fascinating twist. Not even a twist, really, because I don't know if that's so much a twist as just like an interesting. Like,
it's not necessarily a twist,
story,
but they gave you all the pieces.
Yeah. It's an interesting ending to a film. So
yeah. It's like they gave you all the pieces throughout the movie, and then at the end they kind of tell you what to do with them or like how you can view it. But it's different than something like Shutter Island, where it's like, well, you see, what happened was, and then they go through and they tell you everything. Like that's cool, but this was a different type of like kind of psychological twist, which was interesting. I liked it. Yeah,
I honestly liked it. I thought it was interesting enough throughout the whole thing that I never got bored. Yeah, it didn't seem too long. It was only an hour and a half. I never felt like, oh, this is like wasting my time or anything like that.
Was it really only that long?
Yeah, I checked I was looking like in the middle of it to see. Maybe it was an hour and a half left when I checked, because I checked at like half an hour elapsed and then it said like an hour 30, but maybe there was an hour and 30 left. I don't know. But it wasn't like a 2.5 hour movie or anything like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I liked it. I kind of wish it was easier to, because I always feel like there's an element of, am I too dumb to like put together all the elements, or is it like just a little bit too convoluted? Yeah. And with this, it was a little bit like, okay, I don't know exactly everything that happened because it didn't go back through and explain it to me. But that's a Christopher Nolan classic thing, which we can talk about, because he likes to, whether it's genuine or not, make things as complicated and like heady as he possibly can, except for like Batman. Obviously,
to me, one of the confusing parts was that, and one of the main like conceits of the movie is that whatever the dude's name, Leonard, I believe his name is, he's looking for someone named John G, and they literally throw 20 people whose names start with J and G, and it's like Jimmy, John, James. It's like I actually don't know who you're talking about anymore. Like, I've lost the plot of who is who until like the very end when everything is finally unraveled for you. But
yeah, there's a lot of
which might be part of the mystique and intrigue in the movie, but it just kind of gets.
They also throw you like it starts in media race.
It starts at the end.
Yeah, and well, yeah, but it's like it in the sense that like the way it's framed with like the black and white sequences and all that kind of stuff. Like while you're watching it up to a certain point, you're not really sure where. Like it's only like I would say maybe like a third of the way in, you start to realize like what's happening. You start to realize like okay, so we're moving back to figure out why he is where he is and what happened. But at least right at the start, I was super confused.
Yeah,
because I had no idea where it like they start the whole thing in the beginning where he is like that whole murder sequence happens in reverse, but then for the rest of the movie, everything is playing. Like, it's not like the whole movie is playing backwards. He's not walking backwards the entire movie.
No,
but it's like
chronologically, it's going back in time.
Yeah, so like they kind of like it almost like psychs you out at the beginning with that backward shot, and then you're like, okay, so now we're back to normal. But then you start to realize that even though it's all happening like in normal time or whatever, it's all little like pieces of the story like going backwards.
I mean, I thought that was apparent like from the start, because after he kills the guy or whatever, the next scene, like they show the first scene where it's like, oh hey, like Lenny, and then, like the next scene immediately after that is the
guy
like,
alive
going through that and doing that scene again. Like when you see the beginning of that again, you see him like say, oh hey, what's up, Lenny? It's like, okay, this movie is gonna play this. Like, this is how this is gonna play out. It's gonna go back like scene by scene until we get to the beginning of the story, which is fine. But
that's interesting. One thing I wanted to bring up was that I feel like Pulp Fiction did this better.
I think it does it differently.
It does it differently because it happens in different... It's not backwards the entire time.
Yeah.
But I liked that better, I think, because with this one, it was cool because when they would get to... Like, one of the coolest ones was when the scene starts out with him like rustling through like the drawer, and then she comes in and she's like I just got beat up by Don or whatever the guy's name was, and then he's like, wait, what the fuck, like, well, that's crazy, and then the next scene after that ends with him rustling through the drawer, and right as he was doing that, I was like, oh, this is like going back to the beginning of the scene that we just watched. And so that would keep happening where you wouldn't really know where the scene was going until the last like few seconds, and you'd be like, oh, okay, I get it now. But then with Pulp Fiction, I liked how they would kind of drop little hints or like little subtleties throughout where you'd be like, oh, that's why like in so-and-so's storyline they have like the bullet wound, or that's why like the whatever it is. I kind of liked having that stuff interspersed throughout different storylines so you could kind of piece it together for yourself, rather where this one, like at the end of each sequence, it would not necessarily beat you over the head with it, but you would it's very obvious to you.
Yeah, and in Pulp Fiction, it's like, here are 5 like separate storylines that are just occurring at different times, whereas this is like, here is one man's like life or one story that's in chunks. Like if you cut the scenes of this movie and like in a different order, the movie will play out in a perfect order, like reversed.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
It's like you're watching these like scenes out of order, but all of them are chronologically backwards in order. You know, you're just watching a movie backwards. It's not reversed. They're not walking backwards and like speaking like. It's just they're going back in time each time, which is interesting. But I don't know if, like, again, like the middle part of the movie was like I just want to see the end. Like I want to know what he's doing, and that payoff is good, but it just took, for me, it was like I just got sick of some of the stuff that was
This
happening.
might be one that I have to read up on just to get a different perspective, because I feel like they throw a lot at you, and in typical Nolan style, he really gives you nothing to do with it. You just kind of have to figure that out for yourself, which I like. But it's same thing with Inception. Like, people were talking about that for years after it came out, and I'm sure that happened. I'm sure that's why this movie was so big, because really only someone like Christopher Nolan could pull this off well, or like decently, coherently. So it's interesting, but there are elements of it that I think have been done better.
Yeah. Also, I wasn't a big fan of Guy Pearce, whatever his name was. I don't know if he
I
was
don't
a great actor in this film at all. He's really like, he didn't give off a bunch of like great acting vibes. You know, he was kind of just saying his lines without a bunch of emotion. And, like, he didn't seem like a believable person. Like, especially when it was like doing the black and white flashbacks where it's like, okay, this dude is just like deadpan as all hell and like has literally no emotion in any regard.
Yeah.
Like,
his only emotion is anger at whoever he sees first, because he just beats up whoever he sees.
Because he just thinks that they're automatically about to kill him.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Again, I don't hate this movie. The ending, I think, is cool, and the way it's shot, and like, not the way it's shot, but the timing in it is cool, but it's a little got a little boring for me. And also the one line where he was just like, I can't feel time, or something like that. It's like,
that was a classic Nolan
the
garbage
cheesiest
can.
trash heap I've
Nolan
ever seen.
garbage can.
Like, that was so cheesy. And then he just like, I know that the script, the screenplay was like, I can't feel time, look off into the distance sadly. I was like, and then he did. I was like, yup, cool. Like, you're
Also,
really
she's like
selling it.
borderline asleep. Like, you're talking to yourself,
Yeah.
bud.
I was just like, okay.
You're delivering a soliloquy to audience.
Yeah. But
And there's no actual purpose in the movie for you to do that.
the other like subplot that they hinted at with like Sammy Jenkins or whatever was a interesting tidbit as well. Again, doesn't pay off till the very end, but it's interesting.
I'm still not sure I fully understand that either.
I mean, do we want to delve into it? Because we could.
We
No,
could. I mean,
I don't.
Okay.
I thought it was apparent in its in how it handled that.
I get it to a certain extent. I just mean, I'm wondering if there's something I'm missing, but we can talk about that later.
Yeah. Overall,
We can talk about that on our Memento cast coming up, guys, now.
Every cast, we talk about Memento and talk about a different piece of it.
That's
and figure out
right.
the puzzle.
we cut the podcast up and play it in reverse order.
Have you guys heard of the podcast where they
No.
watch Grown Ups 2
Yes.
every like day for like a
yes.
year?
I have heard about that. There was a Vice article on that, I think.
What do you talk about at that point?
I'm pretty sure they literally have just like, after a while you stop looking at like the main stuff and you start looking in the background and like just start thinking about like other stuff.
I think
be
it just
episodes where they
evolved into mayhem.
Yeah, there has to be episodes where they just don't talk about the movie. There's like, no,
sure.
we've already talked about it 360
so you wanna
times.
talk
Do they
about
talk
Grown
about it as it plays?
No,
Oh, they talk about it after they watch it?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
It
would
would
be
be more.
cooler if
It
it
would be
was-
more interesting if it was a commentary every time.
Yeah. I don't know if they have like an hour and a half in them to talk about it after the like,
That's
show.
true. That's true.
But yeah, also the thing about that is that they were from a different country, and it was really hard to understand their accent because they had a
Was it
really
like New
small.
Zealand or Australia or something?
Yeah, either that or like British, but like super strong.
Like,
Anyways.
like super British.
Cockney.
Yeah. All right, so what do we give it?
You know, they tried, and I can respect that. No, that sounds so bad. I liked this movie. I don't know if it's as good as like I was led to believe it was before watching it, which is a danger nowadays when you're watching a movie like this that has been hyped up so much, especially by Christopher Nolan. So I expected...
What he said his own movie was incredible? What are you talking about?
No, like a movie by Christopher Nolan. Like,
okay.
when you hear Christopher Nolan, you're like, oh my
Not
God,
him
It's
hyping
about to
it.
be the best movie ever.
He's just walking
Yeah.
around just telling people, watch Memento.
Guys,
It's really
Memento's
fucking
really good, guys.
I don't know if people are talking about Memento.
No, I mean, it was good. I would say... I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Okay.
I thought it was a pretty solid mystery. I thought I wish that I had watched this closer to its release because
Why? You would have been 6.
when did it come out?
2000.
No, yeah. Well, I mean, like, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I wish life had turned out differently, and my parents were like, "Wow, let's have a child in 1985." And then when this movie came out, I was old enough to appreciate it. But yeah, no, I just wish, because I feel like this was one of those movies, sort of like Inception, where at the time everyone was probably like, "Have you seen Memento? Like, that was crazy, how blah blah blah," and they're talking about the theories and everything, sort of like that, and like the Sixth Sense and things like that. I think it would have been cool to like be a part of that conversation at the time, and I also think it was probably pretty innovative for the time and pretty like groundbreaking in some
sure
regard.
the
Like
way
it's
that
pretty
movie was set
strange.
up would.
Yeah, so I think it's an important movie. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's important in some ways, but overall I thought it was just pretty good.
Well, guess what? I was old enough to understand Inception when it came out, and it wasn't that great. So, fuck off, Christopher
fuck
Nolan.
you! Inception was a good ass movie, dude.
I disagree. No, it just wasn't for me.
That's a hot take.
Oh fuck!
I'm
you.
not a huge fan of Christopher Nolan, except for The Dark Knight. So, yeah, I guess I'd say I feel like I liked it more than you guys, but it might be just because I didn't care whatsoever if it was good or bad. I had no expectations going into the movie. So yeah, I'd say I recommend it to people that enjoy Christopher Nolan. If you've seen any of his other movies, you might like this one. It doesn't have the same grandiose scale and like, the filmmaking techniques that he's used or that he's known for at this point. But yeah, it's an original movie. So, yeah, it's interesting in that regard. I definitely wouldn't say it's the best of this kind. There's more crazy mysteries and crime solving and time traveling and shit like that. So, yeah, not bad. I'd say it was even good for what it was.
Yeah,
No, it was good. Don't get me wrong. I thought it was good.
Yeah,
but
has it some really good moments in it. Again, the ending for me is like the best part of that movie. So I'm glad I watched all the way through it. But I'm gonna give this movie 12 missing pages from a police report out of 20.
Dude.
not bad.
My God.
Not bad, dude.
Thank you.
It's a pretty bad score.
That's a
but
low-
It's
that's
a
a low
great
score.
comparison.
It's fine.
All right, man.
D- get degrees
Let's go,
from film schools.
Let's go, dude.
guys. Is that all the movies we have?
I did watch Sicario a couple weeks ago.
It's a guy at you.
That's a good ass movie.
Nice.
If anyone hasn't seen it,
I feel like you.
watch it.
That is a type of movie that you might enjoy.
What do you think of the ending?
It's good. I'm glad that it ends the way it does.
Like the last 20 minutes.
The last 20 minutes are an exciting moment and also like hard to watch at points because it's just like that movie's brutal in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But it's a fascinating look. Also, who is that? Is it Benicio del Toro? Is that his name? Mm-hmm. He's a fantastic man.
Yeah, he's
really good in
man.
that movie.
He's a good actor.
And so is Emily Blunt. That whole movie has a fantastic cast, and they're all really good. So
There's a couple moments in that movie that, actually, I would say the majority of the movie, when the tension is high in action scenes or not, made me uncomfortable.
yeah, it's
I was stressed and anxious, and I just didn't feel well during a lot of that movie.
The moment when they're coming back across the border, they're coming back from Mexico.
Yes.
They're on a
Was that the freeway scene?
Yeah, they're on the freeway, in a traffic jam, and you're just this shit is about to go down. And I was just sitting there in my chair. I was like, this is you just see the guys pull their guns up from the window. I was like, that shit's about to happen, and then it's brutal.
It's crazy.
Also, that movie is really it's quite beautifully shot. A lot of scenes are really good looking. So
It's another Roger Deakins joint, bro.
You just played right into Dane's hand.
He
with
did.
that one.
I mean, okay.
I knew he wanted to say it.
Let's be honest.
I knew he wanted to say it.
He can't shoot a bad film.
Yeah,
Every film he's shot is just stunning.
I agree.
Like the whole scene where it's close to the final sequence where they're doing a night raid,
Yeah,
all shot in natural light.
it's really.
There's
cool.
no studio lighting. There's no nothing. It's all just dark.
Yeah, it's
And you can't see what the fuck is going on. There's muzzle flashes and you see lasers and
I love
there's
it when
night
I
vision and
can't see
stuff.
what's happening.
A lot of it was, man.
I mean, it's cool because it's shot against the sunset, and you just see silhouettes, and it's really
It's so
cool
good.
looking.
It's so good.
And then of course they just go into these mines and just fuck shit up, but it's a cool movie.
Yeah.
Really good.
I may have already talked about it before, but I saw that in a very bad context where I was on a very long flight from England back to America. I had to go to England. Oh, I'm so sad. I had to travel the world. No, but
you got to experience other cultures and
that I was
broaden your
so
horizons.
tired. We all know how it is when you're traveling. You get tired. So, anyways, Not the best context. I wasn't a huge fan at the time, but I'm sure if I watched it in a good situation, I probably would have liked it. And that scene on the border was really great in any context.
Yeah.
That's one of the most tense moments that I can recall in recent memory from movies. It's very stressful.
Good film.
Have you seen Prisoners?
No,
You saw Blade Runner.
I did.
And we're going to need to see Wind River.
I want to see Wind River. Is it still in theaters?
Maybe like one of them.
I was mainly just mentioning movies by Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah. Good director.
Wait,
If that's what he is.
who directed Sicario? Denis?
Mm-hmm.
Who directed Wind River?
That was not Denis.
And
What does he have to do?
he was the
with
same
these
guy from
episodes?
Hell or High Water. I thought there was like a progression. So there are 3 movies from the Hell or High Water. I thought it was Sicario, Hell or High Water, and then
No. Sicario's
Wind River. Well, I know that they're not like sequels to each other, but anyways, we'll figure this out. This is a logistical
Denis
piece
did Sicario, Enemy, Prisoners, Arrival, Blade Runner, and some foreign films.
Are you going to make me figure this out right now?
No.
I'm positive that he didn't do Wind River, and he definitely didn't do Hell or High Water.
I know he didn't do Wind River or Hell or High Water, but...
Wasn't that the dude who wrote it?
Oh, yeah, it was probably the writer that was all those 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right.
Oh,
got
no, I think you're right. I think he wrote Sicario.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about now. I thought you were talking about the director.
That guy's a bowler.
Yeah. Good writing
Okay.
in that movie, too.
Yeah.
Is that the final film?
I mean, I watched Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Sword of Destiny, the Netflix sequel to Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Which you haven't seen, right?
I may have seen it at some point in my life. I know for a Asian film studies class we were going to watch it, but we ended up skipping it, unfortunately, which I regret to this day because that was seems like it's a great film. I enjoy the like on wires like fighting stuff that they do in movies, like even in Sword of Destiny, which is by itself a terrible movie. It actually has some like interesting, like it's like really like saturated when you're watching it, which is kind of cool. And also there is one fight scene in a tavern that is like fantastic. Donnie Yen is in it.
Okay.
Great. He has a great scene, but yeah, movies like, and even in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, I've seen some scenes from that, and movies like Ip Man, like that set, like they're not so much fights as like really well choreographed dances, and they're like fascinating to watch because they're so just like the people that are doing these stunts and stuff are doing it at such a ridiculous speed and such like tight timing. It's like amazing to watch, and also like the wires like jumping around is fun. It's just I had a smile on my face watching that movie at certain points, but
It's a show of Cirque du Soleil.
yeah, it's really just fun to watch. It's not
Cirque
a
du
good
Soleil
movie.
with weapons.
It's theatrical.
It's theatrical. It is. It's like watching a theater performance of
Right.
people, and it's fun to see that. That Sword of Destiny, I wouldn't recommend watching it, but there are other great like Hong Kong films from Hong Kong that have that similar style. So, and China. It's fun to
Nice.
watch.
Okay. I listened, just real quick, I listened to Odesza's new album. I don't think it's that new by this point. Odesza is a Seattle local band that I enjoy. It's a duo that plays EDM. I think it's like a chill wave type of genre. It's a very interesting genre. It's kind of original because they use a lot of like real sounds within the EDM, like nature sounds and stuff like that. And it's not super synthy. They just like intersperse digital elements, so that's cool. I really liked their previous album. It was the second album.
Can you give the name? I feel like I've heard.
I think it's called A Moment Apart.
Okay.
Was that the one that I listened to with? It's the one with the purple like pinkish cover.
The one that we talked about the other day, it was the older one.
There's a song that I think is from Odesza that I think it might be from Odesza. I'm not 100% sure. Is it? I don't think it's called "It's Only Fire" or something, but that's like one of the lyrics. It's only fire, it's only water, or something.
I think that might be the old one. So they had a breakout single from the previous album. That's how I learned about them. So anyways, this new album, I expected a fair amount from it. And I kind of feel like they made a lot of filler and put it all into an album without kind of making sure that all the songs were like satisfying on their own.
Yeah.
Which there's 16 songs on this album. Not necessary, I'll say that.
It's a decent sized album.
I'd
a
say
large
even a large album.
That's almost a double album.
Yeah. So
It's almost 2 vinyls.
I kind of
I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, probably.
I feel like they maybe did too much, or too little, if you
Yeah.
think of it that way. I don't think they're all bangers.
Are there
So
any
you're saying
bangers in there?
quality over quantity, but that is not what they did.
Correct. They did
Nice-
quantity
nice
over
recovery.
quality.
No. I mean, like,
I prefer quality over
that's what you
quantity.
like. That's what you're looking for.
Are there
For
any
sure.
bangers in there?
There's one song that I enjoy called Higher Ground. It's basically the lead single, and it's the new version of their breakout song. Like, you can tell it's like almost the exact same like style and tempo and like drum beat. And the type of singer, it's the same like breathy female vocal that like everybody has in every song in EDM.
I feel like that's the one, like the breakout single you're talking about, I think is the song that I have heard from them.
Let me just play 2 seconds of it. I doubt that we're going to get copyright stricken. Sorry, just
We're not
one
playing
sec.
Stricken.
Stricken. So this is the one just...
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one.
You have to keep talking over it so that it doesn't get
Yeah,
copyright
this is a good
stricken.
one.
I wanna dance, I wanna dance, dance, dance. Okay, I don't know why I was putting the volume up and down. Yeah, so that was
You're
the
trying to fuck
old.
with my head.
That was the old one. And tell me if this new one sounds exactly the same.
Yes.
I mean, it's not exactly the same, obviously.
No,
It's a little slower, but yeah.
I get what you mean with.
You can, I got the same vibe from it. It's not quite as good, I feel like. The first bit of that, at least.
I mean, as a musician, I noticed specific like instrumental and like drum beat type things that they did with it that
I
are
get what
exactly the same.
I get what you're saying.
So yeah. Yeah, that's the one banger. All the others, there's one song called La Ciudad, which is pretty good. It has like a nice little
jingle.
they might have been going for, since that's Spanish, they might have been going for a Latin influence, which sounds pretty cool. So yeah.
Alright.
That's it for that. That's Colter's album review.
Would you
Album
say that
minute.
it's like bad or just disappointing, or would you say that it's like it's okay and fine, but it's not what you were personally looking for? Do you recommend that people avoid this like the plague?
No, absolutely not. Yeah, I think it's, if you've never heard Odesza, it's a fine album to like start on. I wouldn't like tell you to start on it, but if you happened to listen to this album first, you wouldn't have a bad time.
Okay, so it's not bad. It's just
It's not bad.
Okay.
Compared to their previous stuff, bit of a letdown.
It's definitely a step down from the previous album, and I think they should have taken more time. All right,
Did
I'm their
anyone-
dad.
Did anyone listen to Gorillaz' new album?
No.
Do you guys like
Absolutely
Gorillaz
not.
that much? Are you Gorillaz?
I
fans?
listened to the whole Demon Days album, and I thought that was pretty cool, but it's definitely like experimental.
I like
Yeah.
the early Gorilla stuff and everything after and including what is that one? Diamond Beach? Is
Plastic
that,
Beach?
Plastic
That's
Beach
a fucking
is a
awesome
trash ass
album.
album.
That's a great album.
It's very divisive, as we can see.
That's a great album.
I know musicians.
Jordan, I hate you. No,
some very good musicians that really like that album. So
I'm a
it's
big fan of
definitely
it. But what I was gonna say is with that very briefly, that new Gorillaz album, Humans with a Z. It's important. It was just nominated for Best Alternative Album and Best, like, I think it's Dance Single or Best Dance Song or something for the Grammys. And I found that interesting because that album doesn't sound anything like.
Is it any good?
Yeah, I mean it's not a bad album. It's if you listen to that album not knowing anything about Damien Albarn and the Gorillaz, you'd probably just think that you were having like some sort of like episode, or that you're having like a stroke while you're listening to it or something, because it's so weird. Like he's very much about like experimenting with genre and
Yeah.
like the whole idea of these people or these characters being like their own, like each one is like their own instrument almost, and like there's a lot of just weird stuff where as you're listening to it you're kind of like confused as to whether or not it's supposed to be like a hot single for the radio, or if it's supposed to be like an art piece, or like a like some sort of political statement or message or something. Like there's just a lot of weird stuff in there. It was good, but I'm interested to see how it does at the Grammys, or like if people actually liked that album, because it's not your typical Billboard like top 200 pop album. It's very strange.
Yeah, it's interesting that Gorillaz kind of had like two big radio hits, and now they're just not going in that direction whatsoever.
Yeah.
I think they made their money, and now they're kind of just being experimental.
And the thing is that like musically, it's like it's well produced, and it all sounds.
I don't know why I'm saying they. It's one man, right?
It's
A couple.
It's Damon Albarn who's like the main dude, but there's multiple people who like help produce and things like that. But he's like the ringleader for everything. But yeah, even like the way they're doing their concerts is strange. Like they I think for a while people thought that they just had like a big screen where they played like the cartoon characters, like the actual like, you know, Gorillaz band members, which they do, but they have like, he plays with like session musicians who come out and like do it's like an actual concert, but it's framed as if it's being played by the band members. So you'll see like this big giant screen, and you're like watching like a virtual concert almost, but there's actual people on stage doing like crazy shit, and it's supposed to be really cool, but it's so weird. It's very, very strange. But
As much as I like early Gorillaz stuff, I never got into like I've never like watched one of their like music videos or anything. I just don't care about that at all, really.
Yeah,
it's kind of cool actually.
I've seen
some cool stuff,
like pictures and like stuff from it, and it's neat, but I'm there for the music.
Yeah, no, I mean
not Damon Albarn's
yeah,
scientific
he's a strange
experiment.
guy. He his band Blur is
Blur?
of Woohoo fame.
What?
Isn't that their song? One.
Ooh. Yeah,
yeah.
that's Blur.
Is it?
Clearly a different Blur.
No, that's probably them.
I have no
Of
clue.
Woohoo fame.
Apparently, yes.
Name another Blur song.
I like
Can't.
their album. Well, I don't remember the name of it. It's has like a neon like
I have no idea.
Japanese Tokyo sign thing. It looks like a little ramen shop.
I have no idea.
Well, there's a song called Ghost Whip that's pretty good, but
Okay.
Ghost Ship. Yeah, no, that is also another weird band, but very tame compared to the Gorillaz, because it's a real band and they have instruments and they
Play music.
play music. Yeah, and there's members of the band that are real people that you can see.
Nice.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, it's kind of a big tangent, but Gorillaz are weird.
I'll allow it. I talked about music. Cool. Guys, video games are a thing,
That's right.
and we're going to talk about them.
For now.
What would you like to talk about first? I don't
Who
have a
are you
list.
referring to?
Anyone. Speak up
What
now.
was the
or
list?
forever
Mario
I
hold your
want to
Odyssey.
see what we put on here.
Mario Odyssey.
Just go ahead and talk about that to
Yeah,
start
let's
off.
just hear some Mario
I
Odyssey.
beat Mario Odyssey.
Great.
I'm proud of you.
Next
It's
topic.
a good game.
Where does it rank in your Mario pantheon?
2. After Mario 64.
It's interesting to hear what your number one is.
Mario 64 is a game dear to my heart from my childhood, so...
Would you say you're blinded by nostalgia?
Somewhat. I don't know if that game holds up, but in its time,
I'm gonna say
it was
right
the
now.
best 3D platformer and is a fantastic game.
That's a fair point.
I'll say right now that there are 2 games that come to mind that have revolutionized video games in our lifetime, close to our lifetime.
Zelda and 64.
Yeah, Ocarina of Time and Mario 64. Those are some of the most influential
Got 'em.
games ever made.
You're not wrong.
So I would say that's very fair to say that's your favorite Mario game. Because you wouldn't have Mario Odyssey without it.
It's true.
You wouldn't have like maybe anything that we play nowadays without it.
And there are some very like, I don't have nostalgia for Mario. I don't. Like, I think we talked about this before. I barely played Mario Galaxy. I barely played any Mario games since Mario 64. Well, and Mario Sunshine, but that's a different story.
That's the best. That's the best Mario game.
That's honestly on a lot of people's list the worst Mario game of all time. But we'll just skip past that.
I love that game.
I liked that game mostly while I was playing it. I've watched recent gameplay of that game. I guarantee you it would frustrate the living hell out of you if you played it right now.
That's how I feel about 64.
You probably don't remember, but when you zoomed in with Flood, the little cannon, the controls are inverted. And also, when you're outside when you're outside of the camera, the horizontal controls for the camera are inverted, which is a blasphemous decision. Who inverts horizontal control?
Okay, honestly, the GameCube was a fucking mess.
Controls like garbage.
The GameCube controller was a fucking mess.
Anyways, Mario Odyssey, the end of Mario Odyssey.
Can I just say really fast on that point of controls that are weird for the camera? That reminds me of Kingdom Hearts. Originally, when it came out, you control the camera with the L2 and R2 buttons to move it left and right, and you couldn't change it.
This was before we had realized the right stick on a dual joystick controller could move the camera.
Could function.
Early PS2 games.
We hadn't figured it out.
But they fixed that with Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah. That's correct.
But it also had a bad camera.
Versions, yeah.
Bad cameras are a comment. Not so much anymore, but
they figured it out.
They
at this point for
it was on PS2.
Yeah. A lot of early games. Anyways, Mario Odyssey.
Lucky 2 is no longer controlling the camera.
Yes.
Go on.
The end. There's basically like 2 endings in Mario Odyssey. You can finish the first one after you get like however many stars. You go to Bowser's Castle, you finish this thing, you beat the game, and then it opens up.
If you can spoil it anymore, though, just kidding.
It opens up another set of moons to get on each world. It's like 30 more on each world that you go to, or each kingdom, or whatever it's called. And then once you collect another certain amount, you unlock a final world, which has a really cool it's like makes you like test all the skills that you've learned, like every enemy type you've seen so far. Like there's a bunch of like cool, like the hardest platforming challenges I faced in that game, and that was actually pretty fun to beat that. And there's just a really neat like nod to the players at the end of like when you see the credits roll the first time. There's a really cool thing, and then when you beat the final level, there's another really nice thing that brought a smile to my sad face on multiple occasions. It's very
ugly
fun.
Mug.
Yeah.
So it warmed your cold dead heart.
It did. For a brief moment, I felt, wow, that's very nice.
This is what happiness is.
Yeah. So that was fun. That game, honestly, I don't know if I'll go back and collect a lot more of the moons, because I've done what I've wanted to in that game, but it's a really good game. It's fun.
Is that your favorite Switch game?
It's the one I probably played the most. I did get back into Zelda a little bit, but I beat like the Camel Divine Beast.
Mm-hmm. It's a good one.
And then stopped. I actually made it to Goron City or whatever and finished that. But I will probably continue playing that. But it's like I don't have the urge to play that game. I play it for like a long session when I get into it, but something about it doesn't get me like it got a lot of other people.
Anyone that says that Mario is better than, or that the Switch Mario is better than the Switch Zelda should leave, because that's just garb.
I mean, I think the new Zelda game is more innovative than Mario Odyssey. I think Mario Odyssey is a better game.
I would say that's probably true. I would agree with that.
I am at the point where I'm annoyed by Mario Odyssey.
How is that possible?
I feel
that
like
game is nothing but pure joy
making me do busy work. I enjoy the cutesiness. I enjoy the innovativeness of like, the gameplay elements and stuff like that. I don't like the busy work. It seems like busy work. And the fact that you say that they add 30 more to each level, fuck off. I'm not doing 30 more after I'm done with the game. I barely want to complete the ones that are there, which is so harsh.
Yeah,
and it's not necessarily.
I had fun just going through and just collect, like, it's just easy to, like, oh, all right, there's a moon or whatever over there. I go and grab it. And, like, there's just a lot, especially later in the game, like, the new areas that, it doesn't open up new areas, but there's more, like, of the puzzle areas you go into where, like, the pipes go in and there's multiple stars in there. Some of those are more challenging and just have a bit more of a variety, but I enjoy just doing those challenges and finding them.
I almost feel like I respect your opinion, Colter. I will say that I almost feel like this game is the opposite of busy work to me, because it's presented as busy. Like, when I first started, it was like, I was almost immediately annoyed at the beginning when, not annoyed, but I was kind of like, I thought I knew where they were going to go with the gameplay when they were like, oh man, we have our ship, but we need more moons to get to the other kingdom. And then you have to go and like do whatever the fuck you want to get the like 5 moons or whatever to power up your ship initially to leave, or 10 moons or whatever it is. And so I was thinking to myself, like, okay, here we go. We're going to get a laundry list of moons, and then we have to go through and like, you know, artificially pad the gameplay time by doing these things. But then I realized that like the game is sort of like Zelda, wants you to play the way that you want to play it, in terms of like, if you want to just go and do these linear challenges where the game kind of like guides you to like the big bad that's, you know, sent by Bowser to do whatever the hell and you have to go kill it, you can get enough moons to leave and keep going. You can see the story and then you can stop. But then you can do that, and you can also go off the beaten path and go like find a rock or something where if you throw your hat on it, a little moon will pop out, or like you'll find all these like little 8-bit Mario challenges and like these little random things where you are going to like a random ass corner of the map that shouldn't have anything in it, but then you do something video gamey because you've played a Mario game before and you're like, oh, I wonder what happens if I throw my hat at this crate, or like if I jump on this like weird piece of grass that's glowing or something like that, and you get a moon for it, or you open up like a new path or something. So it's almost like at every turn you're finding like a very intricately designed like level or like a little piece of gameplay that you shouldn't have found. Like, you feel like you shouldn't have been able to find something so well designed like in the corner of some random map that you've like, that you think like, oh man, I might be like the first person to ever find this. You're not, but the game makes you feel like you've found something cool on your own. And so every time I find one of those, I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Like, the New Donk City is a good example because it's so vertical that like I would find myself climbing up buildings and doing all kinds of crazy like acrobatic jumps and using my hat to like fly around. And then when you get up to some top of some random ass building, you find that there's like a whole like another level or a whole another section to get to by going through like a pipe, or like it leads you to a little like one of those like little like power line things that you can like zip around on. Like, you'll just get to areas where you think you're like cheating the game, sort of like in Zelda, but then you'll find like something that was like purposefully put there. And it happens like no matter where I go in that game, I find something that like is just perfectly placed, and it blows my mind every time.
I think it feels less like busy work to me too, because I just enjoy playing. Like, originally when I started playing, I was like, this is like super easy. And also, to bring up those boss fights, they're all shit. Like,
they are
honestly the worst part of the game. The brutals are the worst. Like, they look like crap. Like, I don't know why they're like, let's do Mario and Rabbids, and then they're like, let's also make these crappy rabbit enemies in Mario Odyssey. It's like, what? These look like crap, and also every fight is the same. Just jump on his head 3 times. Like, it's it's very simplistic.
No, the fights are bad, but I guess what I meant is like, if you want to, you can just get enough moons by doing the linear stuff.
But like, I found that the game itself is not hard, it's super easy, but as I started playing, like, I learned that you can like get to places that you like. It obviously allows you to, but it doesn't want you to get there right away. It's like, okay, I can do like the backwards somersault jump off a wall, throw my hat, do the diving jump off the hat, do another like throw my hat again, dive again. It's like you can get to places that are just like above the world basically, and the game knows you can get up there because they throw like invisible coins up there. It's like, okay, wow, I got rewarded for just doing this ridiculous jump, or I see a shine over there, I probably have to use this enemy to like climb up here, jump off, and then do this thing. Or if I just make this ridiculous series of jumps and like jump off the hat and do this thing, I can make it there. And like, that's fun to be rewarded for doing that, even if it's not it's probably not even the easiest way to do it, but it's fun to just be like, yeah, I like, because I was able to like do this like dumb jump, I was able to make it here and just cheese the game that way, and that's fun to do.
Which is similar to that's why I described it to Zelda, or compared it to Zelda, because in that game it's one of those things where you're like, there's a crazy, like that mountain range looks cool. I wonder what would happen if I climbed all the way up this fucking random mountainside and went to this, like, valley, and you find, like, a chest or something, and you're like, oh, wow, like, there was something here that they put on the off chance that you would think that. Like, you would think, like, wow, I wonder if there's something here if I do this crazy thing. And then it's just the developers thought of it, which is cool.
Yeah, it's great. All that exploratory stuff. It's fun. For some reason, I like it really well in Zelda because it's like a whole world. But in Mario, for some reason, it doesn't work for me. It feels like the point of the game is to explore and like be like, oh, maybe there's something over there. Let me make my own fun by trying to find it. It's like, no, I want to play, like, I enjoy the Mario where it's hard enough where I see what I'm supposed to do and I have to have the skill, like, to do it, not in an exploratory way. I want to have a platformer where I'm like going through a level and it's like, okay, I see like the objective here and I'm supposed to do it. Not like, okay, I'm exploring a map and like maybe there will be a coin when I get to the top of this. It doesn't feel good. And the platforming stuff is too short and it's not hard enough. And it's like, it's just not what I want from Mario.
Yeah.
I mean, that's valid.
I think, and also for me, like, I'm like struggling to find out why I'm not connecting with Zelda, because I want to. I've put enough time into that game. But, like, I think a lot of it comes down to, like, when I jump back in, I, like, look at my inventory. I'm like, okay, what do I have here? Oh, this sword. Like, this sword looks great. But when I'm running around finding these chests, like, that to me feels like busy work. Because I pick up this item, like, that's a great sword. It's going to be gone in 2 seconds. Yeah. Like, why did I pick it up in the first place? It's such a waste. Like, everything in that game feels like I get this cool item for what? To have it break in for, like, I was fighting the boss again in the camel or whatever. And I was just like, here's like this great weapon, like these cool weapons that I was saving because I have that weird like gamer thing. I was like, I don't want to use this weapon because it's really powerful. I got to save it when I need it. And then I just use it on this boss, which is a trash boss fight. Those ones frustrate me too.
Those are bad boss fights.
And like, it's just like, what am I doing this for? Like, I like exploring that world. I like going to these cool like vistas and seeing stuff, but there's nothing there for me. It's just like equipment that's gonna break.
Have you built the things in the house where you can display your weapons?
Yes, and I don't ever go to that house. I don't.
Fair.
That's like a thing that people did in like Skyrim and Oblivion and stuff. I'm not into that. Probably the same reason I don't like Animal Crossing. I don't care about like displaying the house stuff. That just does nothing for me.
I know that you don't feel the same way about that, Dan.
I love Animal Crossing so much.
Yeah. That's Mario Odyssey and Zelda.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Where do we go from
All
here?
valid points.
Yeah.
We go to the next logical step, Call of Duty World at War II. Sorry, World War
Wait, oh my god.
Sorry,
oh my
War.
god.
I mean, the world is at war, so.
Again.
Donald Trump is president, so.
World War III. Call of Duty World War II. I mean, we can talk about it. We've played it.
Do you think if we went into World War III, Activision would still create a current day World War III video game?
Absolutely not. I wonder if they would just stop No, they probably. Well, I don't know. That's a hard thing to judge.
They just remaster
They would
a
have
game
to be
and release
tasteful.
it.
But World War II. It's Call of Duty. It's fun when you're doing well. It's rage-inducing when you're not.
We got this game on a whim. Jordan said, let's buy it. And then we were like, all right, I'm ready for the first chance to buy it.
Yeah,
I'm ready to hear that I should buy it.
We bought it within hours.
And for the record, I've had fun playing that game.
Yeah.
Call of Duty is fun when you're doing well. Mm-hmm. When you're getting killed repeatedly, that's when it's just like...
It's a good... I will say this is a good Call of Duty game.
It's a better Call of Duty.
Yeah, it's the first Call of Duty game I've played probably since...
Black Ops 3.
No, I'm going to say Black Ops 2.
Oh.
Jeez.
That I have... felt like that itch to play, like where you're like, that calling card looks cool. All I have to do is get 75 kills with the whatever it is, or all I have to do is dodge however many bouncing betties or something. It's when I played Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 1, Modern Warfare 2, all those, there was that kind of weird itch where it's that addictive grind to oh man, only however many more levels until I get this attachment for my gun, or I really want to get this camera. I'll use this gun for a while to get so I can get this cool camo, or I'm gonna prestige my weapons so I can get yada yada yada. That kind of stuff is just fun. There's the cool kind of it's really just it's a grind in some regards. The game is fun to play, but they give you fun little things to do, little meta game stuff to do. But then also in this one, they have the contracts and the challenges in like the weird ass Destiny tower.
That doesn't work.
Yeah, that doesn't function. But
3 weeks after the game is released, it still doesn't.
It just doesn't work.
There was a weekend where they implemented it, and it was like, oh wow, there's 50 people in this social space. Like, we're all doing dumb stuff.
Did they take it away?
I got back on a couple days ago, instantly in a space by myself. Doesn't work now. I was just like, what are you guys doing?
I think it might just be on and off. Like, half of the lobbies have it, half of them don't, or something.
I will say that this is the on the other hand, this is the most fucked their online launch has been since probably Black Ops 1.
The after action report that pops up after every game, still not 100% reliable. I still have to close the application and restart it multiple times per session. It's just like, you guys have practice at this. Get it like right already.
Yeah,
this is ridiculous.
The launch for this game has been abysmal. Almost, I would say it's unacceptable.
It's like bad. And honestly, besides the party thing, like closing out, like it doesn't happen so frequently. Like when playing as a group, where it's like, oh, like we got lost. Like it happens, but I certainly remember like Black Ops 1. It was much worse at the start. We were trying to play with like 6 people, and it would kick someone out immediately, like over and over again. Like, but they got that fixed. Hopefully they'll get this fixed soon.
They got that fixed within like a couple days.
Yeah, but
this has been like,
it's ongoing.
It's been almost a month.
Worrisome, but they found the time to add microtransactions in, which I found really nice of them. So good. Hey,
but they gave me 1,100 COD points for free.
And I got nothing out of those boxes.
I got awful items out of them.
I know. I like it, but
I like that they've gone back to, and they didn't necessarily even have to be World War II, but it is a little more refreshing because I've gotten sick of the like modern day, like Iraq, Afghanistan, like, you know, modern day conflict kind of stuff where it's just a bunch of people in boring military clothes with M4s and MP5s, and it's just boring ass shit. And then on the other hand, I also got bored of the futuristic stuff with Call of Duty because I don't like how, like, I like stuff like Titanfall that I thought was really awesome, how they have the futuristic technology, but they go so far with it, and they have like these mechs and like stuff falling from the sky and just crazy shit, and it feels like they've totally embraced that futuristic aspect. But with Call of Duty, it felt like they were doing it just because other games did it. Like, well, they had hover packs, like they had laser guns, we have to do the same thing. And then I don't really think that played very well with the Call of Duty formula. It didn't feel right. Like the wall running didn't feel right.
No,
like all that kind of
just
stuff
felt like unnecessary. Like in Black Ops 3 even, it was like it's useful to get to places, but
like it was cool, but it just didn't feel it didn't feel like the game had to have that to be what it was. It was more like, well, we have this because gamers like flying and zipping and zopping. But with Titanfall, like the wall running in Titanfall is so much better. It involves momentum and like actual physics and crazy stuff like that. Like that's a whole nother story. But anyway, so I just got sick of playing those Call of Duty games, and Infinite Warfare was awful. Advanced Warfare I thought was awful.
Me too.
Black Ops 3 was better, maybe just because I like the feel and like the kind of like the engine that Treyarch uses at this point better, but it just made me angry and I just got really bored. But with this, I like the kind of like, it still feels frantic and fast and like arena shooter style, like probably more so to like Call of Duty 4 or maybe Modern Warfare 2 in a way than any game has since, which I really appreciate. And it feels, it's fun to play.
I like it. It's still like what I was hoping for from this one was like, I hope it slows down. Like that was my problem with the other games. And also like even like Titanfall 2 and every game that has like this wall running stuff is like everything's moving so fast. Like you're just moving at such a breakneck speed that you can't like, I just want to sit and like, you know, like move around a corner and check my corners.
I just want to sit in camp.
I don't want to camp, but you know, I don't want to like.
Yeah, you don't have time to breathe.
You don't have time to breathe. You don't have time to breathe in this game either. Like the maps are cramped and everyone is still moving very fast. Like you don't have unlimited sprinting. You can't wall run, but everyone is just running. Like you don't have a safe moment. You're constantly shooting someone in front of you. They're gonna spawn behind you the next time. Like you turn around. So it's like still a breakneck pace, but you're not worrying that someone's gonna come flying from the ceiling or something. You know, that's in front of you. You can check your corners. You can learn the map better without having to worry about these different like angles of attack. You know, it's a little bit easier just to like learn the map. I feel like, but I still have like issues with like the division system is just like Like I like the pick 10, like just perks. There's like choose your perks. Like, do you want a sidearm? No. Okay, you get another perk. Like, do you want grenades? Not really. You get like another perk. Like, it's just I like that a lot. I'm kind of sad they took that away because that was a lot of customization, but it's still like it's still fun. It's just like annoying. I feel like the constrictions, like the airborne division is the only one that can have suppressors on an SMG. It's like, well, I always use suppressors like on assault rifles, and now I can't do that anymore. Why? I don't know. Because they gave a bayonet, which is like great. That's not what I wanted, but great.
Kind of like the simplification,
Yeah.
just because I'm not huge on going into the pick 10, and like there are people that go so deep into like the gun customization and everything like that. I was never that guy. So
I actually really like that's one thing I kind of missed because with the pick 10, you like you said, you could like I would always get rid of my pistol. I would never have a special grenade. I would never have like I would take off maybe like the third perk if it was shitty for like what I was doing, and then I would just on my gun I'd have like 6 attachments or something crazy.
Do I want extended mag, rapid fire, like quick draw, grip, sights? Like, yeah, I want all those.
Yeah, like
also,
I need all that stuff, and then it's like, okay,
game.
I'll throw on these 2 perks that I know that I always want, and then
that just sounds unfair to me. Like, what has
a
golden gun?
Everyone can do it.
Yeah, everyone has that ability.
But
also, they're balanced in a way that is never like, wow, this dude has like 7 attachments. It's like, okay, he has 7 attachments, but he has no perks. Like, that's the trade-off you have to deal with.
Yeah. So there's and on the flip side, you could also have like extra perks, and you could have like
like, do you want to go with no attachments and 12 perks?
Yeah, you go with no attachments, or maybe just like a pistol, and you just use melee, but you have a bunch of like perks that accentuate that or something like that. That stuff is cool. It feels less personal, I guess.
It's very streamlined and like less like there's more character customization stuff, but there's less like class customization, which I enjoyed. But the simplified thing is fine. Like, I deal with it. I still primarily use like airborne, which is fine.
I get it. The reason I kind of like it is because it kind of, and this was sort of, I guess, how Call of Duty 4 was, only because it was early, but you kind of had to like make sacrifices. Like, you had to be like, well, I want stopping power, but that means that I can't show up on a radar or like whatever it is. And this one, it's like, well, I want airborne because I need the suppressor, but then you kind of have to like make up for it by maybe changing like the basic training that you have, or I don't know. There's something cool about having to like kind of adapt to like different divisions. And
I mean, I've still basically come to my like standardized loadout on every single class. Also, they still can never figure out how to make like LMGs a decent weapon in these games. They're always just like I would never use it over the assault rifle. It's like they're so slow. Also, the Bren or whatever takes up 85% of the screen when you aim in. It's just like, I can't see when I'm using this. Why would I use this?
I love that gun though.
That was my epic Bren.
That gun is very strong.
Okay.
Yeah, that wasn't the normal Bren, but
yeah, I don't know. I still like the game, but
yeah, that gun murders people though.
Have you guys played any of the single player?
Yes.
Nope. How much?
Like the first full mission, I guess.
I started that mission, got to the bunkers, and stopped. Nor will I go back.
Yeah, so the whole like Normandy opening sequence is cool. It feels very tame.
It's just like it's not novel or new at all. Like, usually, at least in the Call of Duty campaigns, like Black Ops 3 was like this wild, like mind-jacking adventures. Like, this is crazy. This is Normandy. This is we're gonna storm the beach again. Like, there's nothing new in this at all.
I just don't know what they could have done with it.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe like don't do the same like Normandy front again. We've done that 50 times. I've seen that in Saving Private Ryan. Like, we've seen that a billion times.
Yeah.
You can't do that new. Do a different front. Like, do a different story.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've heard that there is a cool scene in there where like they kind of do the like you're like in a town and you're talking to like Nazis and stuff. They probably don't call them Nazis, but you're in there talking to them and doing like this spy mission. It's like, that's a neat sounding thing. I'm not going to play through half the campaign to get to that because I don't want to deal with it. Also, I hate the new health system. They're like, let's drop regenerating health and use health packs, which is like, why would you make that? Like, just to make it different is just dumb.
I'll need to play it.
It looks very nice, but I just like it. I was so uninterested at the start. I was like, I'm not gonna.
It looks and sounds good.
Yeah.
It feels good when you're playing it. It just, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'll go back. My dad played all the way through it. He always plays the single player and then does the multiplayer. And he played through it, and he said it was good. He said, like, it was a fun ride. I don't know at this point if I care about... I just don't care about the Call of Duty single player that much. Like, I actually... So I bought Infinite Warfare when it was on sale. Like, it was some crazy, like, Amazon thing where they were doing the, like, Prime Now delivery or whatever it was, which I think I did for Black Ops 3, oddly enough, when I had it, like... I bought it the night it came out, and some guy just, like, showed up at my door and gave it to me, which was kind of weird. But, yeah, so I did that for Infinite Warfare, and I did it mostly for Call of Duty 4 Remastered, which was fun. Played that for a little bit. And then I started the Infinite Warfare campaign because I heard nothing but good things about it. And the campaign, I played, like, the first, like, probably, like, 2 or 3 missions of it. And that campaign was pretty cool.
I've heard that was very good.
That was a really... I
was not willing to spend $60 to play it.
But... No, definitely not. I think I paid like $25 or something for the game, or like $25.
You said Infinite Warfare, that one?
And it was like the deluxe edition or whatever that came with COD 4 Remastered. So it's like, I mean, I want to buy this anyway. Not bad. I played the campaign a little bit. I never touched the multiplayer for Infinite Warfare, but I played the campaign a little bit. It was actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
But even then, like, as I was playing it, I was just thinking to myself, like, I'd probably rather play something like Wolfenstein, or I'd probably rather play Doom, or, like, if I'm going to play a shooter nowadays, it's going to be something wacky, like Borderlands, or, like, what these, like, single-player shooters, or, like, maybe Destiny or something like that. I just don't really find myself drawn to, well, I was never really drawn to, but I just can't really get the energy to play a Call of Duty single-player campaign. It's not for me.
All right.
I agree.
Thought we covered that somewhat well.
Sure.
What else do we got? I don't really have too much to talk about.
I beat Wolfenstein. Wolfenstein 2. I was going to say this earlier, but I think I'll save it for the podcast. I just beat it. I just beat this today. Okay. Like 3 hours or 2 hours or something before we met up to hang out. So
I hope that people like looked at their phones to like check to see if the podcast was like still on, like when we weren't talking.
Did it just freeze?
Like what?
It probably did if you're using the iTunes podcast.
It probably did.
Terrible app. Use Overcast, guys. Overcast. Okay. This is not sponsored. Overcast is a great app. Yeah, I'm gonna say that Wolfenstein. First off, fantastic game. Easily my game of the year.
Wow.
No question. I don't care what else.
Savage.
What else I play this year. That's easily my game of the year. I'm gonna say it's my second favorite first-person shooter game of all time, next to Doom. Not because I even like the shooting in this game that much. Like, I like the shooting, but there's a lot of things that frustrate me with it.
Yeah.
But overall, the gameplay mixed with the story, which is one of the best... It's definitely the best story in any game I've played this year. I would say it's very close to being like one of the best stories I've ever played in a video game. But then just like the overall experience of playing the game was just riveting throughout. Like there were certain parts where I did get frustrated with the gameplay because I feel like the gunplay and the like just actual gameplay and moment-to-moment gameplay was at odds with like the level design at certain parts. Like I felt like the level design was just kind of looked nice and felt nice and like aesthetically was really good, but it didn't really necessarily match well with how you were. Yeah,
I think the
like,
enemy
meant to play
encounters are like they don't. The game, I think I've said this before. It says, "Oh, you can play this stealthy. You can like do these tactical things." You can't. You can't play that game stealthy. It's not designed that way. You have to go in guns blazing. Mm-hmm. And if it was upfront about that and gave you the tools to play like that, it would be a way better game. But it's like, no, you still need to go and pick up health and pick up ammo and do this stuff. It's like, it doesn't work like that. Like the final encounter in that game was brutal. Because it's
on the top of the carrier with the...
I was just pulling my hair. I was like, this is just impossible to beat.
Yeah.
Like, I had to just, like... oh, I'm gonna quick save after I kill one dude each time because I don't want to redo this for the 40th time because it's just impossible. Like,
yeah, I was getting really angry. That's what I mean. Like, there were times where just like the gameplay fell at odds with like the level design and how they like were presenting enemies and encounters to you. But that being said, that game is fucking insane.
Yeah, I suffered through that gameplay because the story in that game is like hilarious and like actually emotional at some points. It's really good.
It's so good. I found myself at every turn. Yesterday when I was playing it, I played through a very large chunk of it in one sitting, and I found myself like just putting down the controller for a moment. I was like, no.
Yeah,
they did not do that. Like, this is
like,
not. I'm not doing this right now.
I just like laugh like this isn't like a ridiculous. You guys aren't doing this. And they did, and I was just laughing and just like.
But in a good way though.
Yeah, because
in the best way possible.
Like it's absurd, but also you're just like, damn. Like, how do you continue this story like this over and over and over again? Because it's just like bizarre and goes places you just would not expect, and it plays with the character too, like in a way that is like not. Like, you wouldn't expect the game to do the story beats that it does because it seems like it is a first-person shooter, and they don't usually play with you like that, you know? But it just goes places and has some ridiculous things to happen to you, and it's fantastic.
And it also, like, I think I mentioned this when, I mentioned this after I played the demo at PAX, but then also, like, whenever we last talked about it, I said that like the cutscenes felt like I was watching a movie.
Yeah.
It only gets better. Like if you just want to like sit someone down and if they don't want to play the game, just like let them watch the cutscenes. Just the cutscenes, and they would have the time of their life because it's incredible. It's very well acted. Motion capture and voice acting are phenomenal. Like the way that the cutscenes are shot and framed and like directed and everything look like just it's something. It's something to behold for sure.
It's a good game.
It's a very good game. I think it deserves to be played by everyone.
I agree.
Really, really good. I was already very excited for it. It exceeded my expectations. Good shit.
BJ Baby Bowie. BJ
Blazkowicz.
I don't know if I would put this as my game of the year, but I do think this is a game that everyone should play.
Well, I'm still working through other stuff, so maybe that'll change. But right now, it's been a while since I've had a game that I didn't want to put down. I played a long time yesterday. I played through probably like this morning. I played the very last level. That was. Yesterday I played probably like 75% of the game just in one sitting. So, yeah, it had its hooks in me for sure.
Highly recommend.
Good stuff.
Cool. All right, well, I beat Cuphead.
Nice.
Hey.
A little bit ago. Very good game. We've already talked about it. I don't really have much different to say other than the what's his name? Dice. King Dice. That fight was really cool, what they did with it. And that was a savage move, what they did with it. Did you get savagely destroyed by the dice rolls during that game, or was it pleasant? I figured out how to cheese the dice rolls so that I got what I wanted every single time.
That's basically how I got it too. Like, I think I said before when I did that, I was like, I can imagine a situation where someone is playing this and gets very upset at something that can happen to them, like, but you, like, it's not so much random as you can judge like the rolls, you know. You can usually hit the dice to move where you want to. It's not so unforgiving that you can't do that, but it's still a neat like boss rush twist. I like that a lot.
I feel like if they really wanted to fuck us like they did with like a lot of other boss fights, they would have just made it completely random so that you couldn't
that would have infuriated me. I would have just been so really upset annoying with this, but they at least give you a little bit of action in that.
So that was really cool. Just really quick thoughts on Rocket League, which is my game of choice.
Always.
So I dropped it down a little bit. I reached Diamond, and then I was dropping down, and I was just like, okay, like if I want to keep going up, I'm literally gonna have to play this every day and like practice. Like I literally have to make this my like part-time job almost if I actually want to keep going upwards. And I don't know if I'm willing to commit like that.
That's
so
like
that's just a sad realization.
That's a frustrating moment because I had something like that when I was playing Street Fighter 5. I was like, okay, like I'm starting to play this. I can feel myself getting better. I was like, but I actually have to play this every single day, and I have to like sit through this frustration every single day if I want to actually get better. And at a certain point, I just couldn't do that. Like there are other things I need to do, and other games I want to play. Is like to just devote myself to one game forever is too much. Like that's like it's hard because like I wanted to do that, and I can see that for Rocket League. It's like, yeah, like I would love to get way better at Rocket League, but that's a commitment that is hard to do.
Yeah, and when you get to the higher levels, the skill gap is just so incredibly small that it's like not fair. So
that's getting to the level of like high level MOBA play and fighting games. And
I don't know if I would say that for Rocket League, but
I would
it's
say
not nearly as complicated. But
I would say
the maneuvers
in terms of like the skill ceiling, like it's very high in Rocket League.
Yeah, I have no authority to comment on that because I have no clue what it takes to be a professional MOBA player. But
cool.
Just from what I know with fighting games and MOBAs, there's like, you know, the casual like, yeah, I'm gonna play this like with my friends at like parties or whatever. And then there's like I like playing online, and you know I know how to pull off like a crazy combo or whatever. And then there's like the people who count individual frames and like get into the crazy like.
And there's like,
science.
Do you know how to do a half flip?
Yeah, and then you're like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
And then with Rocket League, you're getting into like watching Rocket League like competitively that I've watched just a little bit of. It's like I know that I would never be able to do half that stuff. I just know that I would never be able to do that.
I was thinking about it today, and it doesn't look hard when they do it. It looks
doesn't.
like it's like, okay, this is logical. Like I can see exactly what you're supposed to do in each scenario. But for some reason, it's incredibly hard to get your hands to do what your mind wants to do.
It's literally just like the practice of doing that execution. Like for me, it's like, okay, like I'm terrible at like jumping off the wall to hit up the ball in the air, and the reason I don't get better is because I don't ever do it because I know I'm bad at it. But there's times where I've done it. I was like, okay, I could do this.
Possible.
Like I can do it, but like I just don't because like you want to throw the game trying some like dumbass move in the air, even though it would be great if you pull it off. But you know, it's hard. Like the practice makes perfect, and it's hard to do that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
it gets frustrating.
It does.
Interesting little competitive gaming moment.
Mm-hmm.
Really quickly, were you going to say PUBG?
No, I was going to talk about Rainbow Six Siege, but if you want to talk about PUBG.
Really quickly, PUBG, I actually played that a fair amount this week. I got my first solo win. Let's go.
Nice.
Let's fucking go, dude.
I might put the 30-second clip in right now, and I'll say really quick, I did get the last 3 kills of the match, so that was exciting. But the final kill, the guy had out a crossbow.
Your chicken dinner is taken away.
Which, if you know that game, you know that's borderline the worst weapon in the game.
He was essentially unarmed.
Why would he have that at that point in the game?
I feel like he was just going for the novelty of winning a game with the crossbow.
That crossbow chicken dinner win.
Yeah, and he did hit me with one shot, which... Isn't that supposed to, like, kill you?
A headshot will kill you instantly. I don't think a body shot will kill you. Unless you're, like, point blank or something. I don't know. No one uses it, so I don't know.
80% or, like, 75% of my health in one shot, so...
Well, congratulations. Also,
thank you.
Coulter, we won a duos chicken dinner.
That we did, and you didn't kill anyone.
I didn't fire a bullet during that game. Coulter got 1 kill. We won because at the end of the match, the zone was circling in. We were in a great position that entire game. At the end of the game, I was like, I'm going to just toss grenades. I started chucking them, and then the next thing we knew, everyone died. Some guy got killed by the play zone, and we won with 1 kill between both of us, which was a fascinating.
Hey, I mean, look, you won.
Listen, you can.
You were the last one standing. That's all that matters.
A win is a win. You can win that game without killing a single person. So, I think that's cool.
All right.
Interesting.
Please, Jordan.
I'm dying to talk about Rainbow Six Siege.
What have you got?
You look like you're itching in your seat.
I've literally nonstop been playing this game in my free time because I can't get enough of it. It's too good.
It's a good game.
Like what I said before about Call of Duty, which was I want to go back to where it was kind of slower. The old days of Call of Duty where in search and destroy, it's very tense. You're slowly moving around corners. You're, covering each other. This game is that, but with
Every
way
match.
more. It's so much more in each match. It's like you can have, different operators who all have different abilities. Like the amount of times in that game where the just tenseness of like sneaking around, it's like, okay, there's only 2 of us on our team left. There's 5 guys on the other team. Like it's 5v5 every time. It's like, okay, like, are we going to be able to do this? And like, there's been matches. There was one match where it was me and a dude, 2v5 at the start because my team just left. Single-handedly killed their entire team. And it was like, how did we do that? It's like, I don't know, man. We just snuck around. I was playing it earlier today. There's a map where you're like on a plane. It's a presidential plane. And at the start,
Air Force One.
Yeah. Yes, exactly that. But like the thing that's been happening in that game is
I hate that plane.
It's a hard game because the time to kill in that game is minimal. Like literally any headshot, any gun that hits you in the head, immediately dead. And you cannot be picked up. So that's why people will just like spray around corners because you get a headshot, you're done. Which is an interesting thing in those games because, and even in Call of Duty, like a sniper will kill you in one shot, but assault rifles, you can still take a round, You don't die immediately. In this game, anything just kills you fast, which is fun, but also like you have to play the game methodically, which is like fun to me because you can set up strategies with like people will have mines that you place on walls or C4 or traps, and just like there's way more to do in that game when you're defending the objective or like a hostage or whatever. But
you can like reinforce walls and set up barricades and
barricades. You can reinforce walls that can't be broken through, but certain operators have the ability to do that. And like back to this plane map, I saw some guy at one of my first rounds in that game. Some dude was sitting on the wing of the plane, like a mile out. You couldn't even see him like from the window. And he was just sniping us. I was like, that seems really unfair. And so this time I did that. I took that power into my own hands. Was sitting outside. I was like, this is like amazing. Like I feel like I'm on like an elite squad, just like watching my team go through this like plane. I can see them through each window. I was like, okay, I can see a guy like in the room. There's a guy right in front of you. You can like mark your targets. I was just destroying people from outside the plane. And like finally at the end, it was me and like 3 other guys. This guy's like, he's also a very small child. There's a lot of children playing that game.
Yeah, what the hell?
This certain match that I was playing, like some dude was like, I'm gonna place a breaching charge. He was an adult. He's like, all right, I'm putting a breaching charge. I was like, okay.
The little kid was like, all right.
No, the little kid was like, don't place a breaching charge. I was like, don't do this right now. Don't do this. He's like, don't blow it up. I was like, what? Like, what is happening right now? He blows it up. The little kid kills the other adult on this team, and he's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why did you just kill me? And for 3 rounds, these guys were just arguing back and forth. There was a multitude of little kids just arguing. I felt like I was in a preschool. It was a nightmare.
That's insane.
I was just like, I was trying to figure out a way to mute my chat, but I couldn't because my teammates were actually talking. So I was like, I need to listen to them. Mm-hmm. But anyways, it's me and this little kid at the end. And he's just like, can you come in and help me? And I was just like, well, I'm going to go in, but I'm not helping you. Like, I'm just going to go in and finish this game. So I go in. I'm playing as this guy who has like a thermal sight. I throw a smoke grenade, kill some dude. Another guy kills my teammate, and he's yelling at me in chat. He's like, please pick me up. Can you please come over and pick me up? I was like, I didn't say anything. I don't talk in that game on my mic unless I'm with people. But I threw another smoke grenade, killed the guys. And he's like, oh, you could have just revived me. I was just like, I'm not gonna pick you up. Like, I just won the game.
I'm
like,
not doing my own shit.
All right, Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, I was just like, like no, like I need to leave this game. But yeah, I've seriously been playing that game a lot. It's just a lot of fun with just strategizing. That's what I like. It's like search and destroy, except there's way more strategy involved, and it's really fun. Like breaking through windows, rappelling. It's neat. There's a lot of cool stuff in there. So.
All right, Alpha Team, you breach left quadrant. All right, me and the boys are going over the right
I'm
quadrant.
not kidding. He was actually like, imagine someone talking very technical about these games where he's like, he's calling like the operators by their actual names. Like, okay, Ash, can you please breach through this door? I was like, just stop. Like, I can't listen to this. This is like infuriating to listen to.
Now fucking get out of the way right now!
And then that happened.
Everyone hit the deck! Hit the deck!
At one point, he was like, don't use the breaching charge because it's very loud and ineffective. It's inefficient to go through the door this way. I was just like, what are you doing right now? Like, let me play the game, son. Like, I don't want to listen to this. This is ridiculous, but it's hilarious. That game's awesome.
I'm just imagining
That game
a
is
little
really
kid
cool.
going,
Let's fucking go!
Yeah.
Let's go, dude!
It's stuff like that. But yeah,
Boom, headshot!
like,
No, I think you just better go, dude!
That game is really cool. Colter, I saw that you bought it.
I did.
Dude, let's go, dude. Let's let's
I
fucking
purged
go,
it because
dude.
I was like, okay, this game, you guys are obviously having fun with it. Jordan's playing it all the time, and it looks good, or it looks original and like a cool style and stuff like that. So
So Jordan and I played a lot of Rainbow Six Vegas 2 on the 360. All terrorist hunts on realistic difficulty.
Yeah.
Let's fucking go.
dude.
Yeah, so let's go, dude.
Thanks, man.
No, so we played through like the campaign on that game. Like I think we were pretty high level on that game from what I remember, because you had like 3 different categories that you'd level up. I was a very high level in all of those categories. Very fun game. I hadn't played a Rainbow Six game since then.
I don't think there have been any since then.
That's probably true. We played the there's been like Tom Clancy games, but there hasn't been any Rainbow Six games. But yeah, we played the beta for this, I think.
Hated it.
Very briefly. Didn't like it at all.
Yeah.
The game has apparently gone through a lot of changes since release. And I always saw it on sale on Steam, and the reviews were pretty good. And there's been oddly enough, that what caught my attention was that it was always like in the news, like gaming media news. Somehow it was like, oh, Rainbow Six Vegas gets a second year of content and gets a third year of content. Oh, Rainbow Six Siege gets, new operator, like new map coming to Rainbow Six, and it was all this stuff, and it wasn't like the kind of stuff you'd normally see for like Battleborn or some shit game where it's like they're clinging to life and they're trying to get like anyone possible to come back and play it. It was like there's actually just a community of people that play this game a lot, and then Ubisoft is like, wow, okay, we'll just make a lot of content for people.
It's actually like an interesting story that the game, when it came out, like wasn't well received by a lot of people.
Like people hated it. I think.
Like over updates and adding new characters, like it actually became a popular like multiplayer game, and like to this day, like they're coming out with new content. They have content scheduled for like another year, which is like pretty cool to come in on that. Like the game is 2 years old at this point. It's almost gonna be 3, I think, in February, which is it's a fascinating little story.
I think they're going the route of I think what they wanted to do with Street Fighter V and stuff like that, where it's like they're not, and maybe even like with Overwatch, where they're not probably going to come out with another Rainbow Six game very soon. It's just going to be this Rainbow Six game that they add weapons and maps and operators to, and different like modes, and like there's a new co-op mode coming out with the next DLC release or whatever. There's going to be like an actual new mode, completely different mode.
And they don't like charge for any of the maps that come out, which is important, because even Call of Duty to this day still segregates its players by the map packs, which is like, if you don't keep up with that, then you're out of the loop, which is annoying. But at least in this game, new maps come out, you get to play them. New operators come out, you don't have to pay. You can pay real money for them, but you can earn in-game currency and get them. Like, the game is not. I don't feel cheated by that game's like market. It's
no, they're doing everything pretty smartly, I think. I don't know. Pleasantly surprised with that game. Yeah. We kind of just bought it on a whim. I saw it
half off.
Yeah, it was half off, and I was like, "You guys trying to play some Rainbow Six? Like, this could be fun." And it's nice to have another game in the rotation. It's very, very different than Call of Duty. It's very different than PUBG. It's very different than
Overwatch.
Anything like not even just shooters in general. Like, it's a very different style of game than. I mean, shooters is the logical comparison, but it's a very different game than anything I've played.
It honestly
recently,
does. Like the first couple matches, I went in and I was like, okay, I played first-person shooters. It just plays nothing like that. Like, it's so methodical. You're moving very slowly, like as a team through these areas, clearing out places. Like, a bunch of the doors in the game have barricades on them that you can basically only see like a foot if they're on the other side. And so, like, as I've learned through the game, it's like, okay, I can like crouch, lean, and like break the window with your gun and peek through, like, and shoot someone on the other side. Or if you hear someone moving through a wall, you just turn into the wall, shoot through the wall, get a headshot, they die. Like, that kind of stuff is, when you see it in the game, it's just amazing when someone just turns around. Like, you can just like see them trying to like line up the shot through a wall and then they just blast and just get a kill. Like, it's cool to see.
It's cool because it's one of those things, sort of like Battlefield, where it's like, if you see a wall and there's someone behind it, you can destroy it, and then you're like, yeah, you can only do that on some walls. But on this one, and it's sort of like that on here.
That in this one.
Yeah, it is like that to a certain extent, but also like most of the engagements that you're finding yourself in, if you are in like a living room and you're like, well, there's a guy over in this like one room over, you can just blow the fucking wall down like, and then just storm the room.
One
with
of
a
the
shotgun
characters'
or something.
fuse has like a cluster bomb that you put up to the wall, and it just shoots grenades into the room that you're going through. And you can do that through like the ceiling. You can do it through a window outside if you're rappelling in. Like it's just crazy to see that kind of stuff, and it's just I don't know.
And there's a lot of
different each time you play it too, because there's so many operators in there.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that'll work together too. Like there's like the reinforced walls that you can put up with like Castle. Like there's a character I play called Castle who you can put up like you can reinforce walls essentially by putting like sheet metal on it so that someone can't break it down with a breach charge or something like that as easily. But then the guy that I play as, you can put up like armor, like bulletproof walls over like certain doorways and things like that, so that people can't use abilities like the clustered bomb or whatever it is from far away. So you can kind of like just barricade the fuck out of a room with like all these crazy abilities. But then there's also abilities that'll work in tandem with that. Like Mira, is that her name? She can put in like basically a
like a one-way mirror. Like,
it's a one-way mirror thing that you can put on a wall, and you can peek out and shoot people. Or it's barricaded at first, but there's this little tank that you can shoot or melee that will blow out the glass, and then you basically just have like a little like speakeasy window that you can just like fucking murder people through. And you could set up like a whole fortress around a room that you're barricading with your team and put this thing in there, and then it's just like impenetrable. But then, you know, if the other team is playing as Glaz for whatever, you can throw a smoke out there, completely obscure your vision, and then you can just use your thermal sight to peek through and just like snipe people. So there's all kinds of cool like counters and like, weird little strategies that you can come up with, like just with your operator and your team, which is actually pretty fun. And it adds another layer of strategy on top of a already, I would say, somewhat complicated, and
there's a lot of things to learn in that
it's
game.
very intimidating to a certain,
like the operators, like it does a good job at the start and not letting you play every single person, because a lot of them are not like, there's definitely a tier of like, this is a pretty normal to use operator who's like supportive for your team, you don't need to like do stuff. And then there's operators that are like, you need to know the map to like roam around and sneak through, because operators have different sets of armor and speed, and like some of them can stealth through like not through walls, but like stealth around stuff. And you know, there's a lot of stuff in there. And there's also like one of the last things I'll say about this game, which was a fun thing that happened, was there's a hostage like extraction mode. One of the game types is just hostage mode. It's random each time you play, and if you grab the hostage and extract them, you win. And my team was doing that. We were on the extraction team. It's me and one guy left against like 5 other people. He runs into this room with the hostage. There's a guy looking at him from, I can't see him from where he is. I'm playing as Glaz, who has a smoke grenade. I throw it in front of the hostage. The guys lose line of sight on my teammate, but saw he was there and just started shooting at him, hit the hostage, down the hostage, like their own hostage, and they had to go revive him. And after that, like one by one, I just picked them off as they came attack me, pick up the hostage, just killed them all. Like it's like, because that one dude ran in front of the hostage, I threw a smoke grenade, they couldn't see, like they have no idea where the hostage is anymore. They just fired in there and downed him. Like that was like a really funny thing to see, and also just like critical to winning the game, because there's a lot of strategy involved in positioning and that kind of stuff, which is cool. So it's a fun game.
It is very fun. It brings back memories of those cool matches of Search and Destroy, where you're like, all right, I have to defuse the bomb, I have 30 seconds, there's 3 people alive, like I gotta go John Wick on this.
It's literally that exact same feeling of like, it's 1v5, I gotta clutch this, and sometimes you do.
It's 1v5, I gotta clutch this. That's tough.
You got
That's real tough, dude, especially on
tough.
This game.
It happens. Sometimes you ace the round, as I've learned it's called. You get all 5 kills, you're a champ. Your team loves you.
What I think I said when we were playing is that it feels like you're playing like hardcore on Call of Duty, where it's like, like there's always that person that you run into online where like randomly when we're playing a Call of Duty game, it's like, let's play hardcore team deathmatch or whatever.
One time.
And then, and you play it one time, and there's always the guy in there who like is a career hardcore player who like just got home from work.
He knows
and he's,
exactly
like,
where you're
drinking.
gonna come through the corner and shoot you immediately.
Yeah, or he's like on your team, and he's like, oh man, like talking to his friend who also only plays hardcore, and he's like, man, I can't tell you how fucking angry I get at like normal team deathmatch, like 6 fucking bullets in a guy's chest and he doesn't die, and then he's like, nah man, I only play hardcore, like, and he's just so into it. This is just that, every match. Like, if you see a guy poking his, like, if you see a guy's ear poking around a wall, you can just fire one bullet and kill him. Like, you can, it's just so intense. Like,
that's honestly one of the most interesting parts of the game to me. Is just like the immediate death of, like, the headshot is an instant kill. It doesn't matter what gun you're using. You could be using a gun that has 80 rounds in the chamber, fire into a room. If you hit one person in the head, they go down immediately, whether they're on your team or not, which has happened multiple times. I will say that.
Yeah.
But it's fun, it's tense, and there's just a lot of layers of strategy involved. I like it a lot. So
It's a fun game.
Continue to play it, and we'll continue to play it for a long time to come.
We need to play that. I haven't been on much recently, but I want to play more of that. Colter, I'm excited to see what you think of that game.
Me too.
It's a good one.
I definitely think playing in groups is, like, I've been playing solo a lot, which is fine, because people in that game are actually pretty talkative, because you kind of need to win, usually, but in a group, you can set up strategies that are, like, funny, like, all right, let's, like, build this wall, and then have, like, 4 C4 charges around here, and just blow them up when they walk in. Probably wouldn't work, but maybe it will, you never know.
I mean, it'd be fun to try.
Yeah, why not? So,
It's a cool game.
I think that's the last thing that I've been playing that I can remember.
I think that's everything that I had on our little cheat sheet here.
I hope so, because we don't have much time.
Yeah, no, I think that was about it. Mario, what's that good? Yeah. Okay.
Boys,
Yeah.
thank you for listening. If you want to contact us, please
Wait.
do. Because
We have to pull
if you...
film.
No.
No?
No, go ahead then.
No. We're not pulling a film, okay?
No, if you were going to say something, go ahead.
We're not doing it.
Okay.
Give me the bag.
This is a bag. The bag is over there, I think.
It's right there.
No,
isn't
it's
it?
right there.
Oh. Wait, is that another behemoth bag that looks just like this?
Yes.
I fucked up.
There are a lot of free
idiot.
bags that pack.
Whose turn is it?
Don't do this to me.
I pulled the last one.
Dane pulled Halloween Town 2, so it's me. Wait,
Yes.
No, it's me, isn't it?
did I pull Memento?
I pulled Memento.
Well,
It's-
who
it's
put
Dane.
pulled What We Do?
I
Oh
pulled
yeah, it's
Halloween
definitely
Town
Dane.
for sure.
All right,
Okay.
the classic bit.
We had a good run
where we
wait,
were
we
getting
have
it
to
right,
explain what this is. Colter, I'll let you do that.
Guys, we have a list of many films that we made up that we wanted to see.
We made them up.
We made up all these movies.
We directed all these films. No, we thought of all these movies that we wanted to see, and we put them into a bag. This list of films is known as the Wacky Film List. The reason that is the case is because we call the day when we record the podcast Wacky Wednesdays. It wasn't my choice. I think it's a bad name, but it's
You
stuck.
don't.
There's
you,
nothing better.
You wholeheartedly embrace that. Don't just
Just for the record,
don't try to save face with our listeners.
Just for the record.
we added 3 new movies to the bag. Crouching Tiger,
Are they
Hidden
in here?
Dragon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon,
Split.
Split, and
Whiplash? Is that what you
Flash,
wrote?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so Dane's going to pull one out, and if you guys want to watch the movie next week, you guys can follow along with the review. Isn't that fun?
no.
Did you say no?
Yeah.
That's like when I said no to pulling a film.
Get
We're
the
not
bag.
going to do it.
Get the
fucking
bag. Get the fucking bag. We're pulling one. I'm calling an audible. We are going to pull
We
a
are
film.
we are gonna do what we
Can
do.
you
every
hurry
week.
up?
Have you isolated one pape?
I hope we pull my...
In Bruges.
Wow, that's the oldest film known to man.
Fuck
This
off.
film was actually made by the earliest Homo sapien, known as Jiminy.
And his brother Jeremy.
And his brother Jeremy actually did the cinematography. He was DP, director of photography.
Best boy.
In this movie, we actually get to watch.
And best boy was Johnny.
In this movie, we actually get to watch Jiminy and Jeremy get DP'd.
Jesus. Save it for your Pornhub plug.
Dan,
Oh,
this sounds
thank
like
you.
a movie you put on there. What's it about?
I did put this on here. It's a black comedy with
Yeah, if I wanted to watch Medea, I would.
who directed this? The director is well known for his style. He's not necessarily like a Wes Anderson, but it's that sort of thing where it's like, oh, that's a so and so movie. That must be good. So I don't
Jiminy
really, I
Sanderson.
don't really know much about it, but I've heard that it's an action-packed movie that is also very funny, and it has Colin Farrell, who I really like.
Okay.
All right.
We will watch it, whether we want to or not. Guys, if you want to contact
I
us,
fucking hate you.
please hit us up at, you know,
You got it. It's not so
guys,
subtle.
take 2 of that. It's not so subtle at gmail.com. If you want to follow us, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch at It's Not So Subtle. Let's see. What else we got? Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're watching this and like the video. If you liked it, of course.
It's on iTunes as well.
Yep. If you can rate it on iTunes, that would be great. Please be the first person that's not sitting at this table to review the podcast on iTunes.
I didn't.
Well, his name is the Killamilla, and that's your name.
Well, I'm not going to deny that. We don't know that's me.
We don't know it's you. It's unconfirmed, except by you. So yeah, any others that I missed?
I think you got them.
You can find me at Colter Potter on Instagram and Twitter.
All right.
Dane, where can they find you on Pornhub?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Colter. You can find me at Lane DePoint. I won't spell it.
How do you spell that?
How do you spell that?
Lane DePoint on most of the social medias that the kids use nowadays. Twitter, Instagram, I guess Twitch, even though it's all filtered through It's Not So Subtle. And then, of course, Pornhub. Always Pornhub.
Cool.
I'm never going to let that bit die. I had something I wanted to say. I don't remember what it was. So go ahead, Colter.
Great.
You can find me at Colter Potter on Instagram and Twitter.
That's something for sure. Damn it.
Jordan, where
Yeah.
can they find me?
They can find Colter Potter. I'm kidding. You can find me, Jordan Miller, at the Killamilla on Twitter, Twitch, video game stuff, what have you, all the social media stuff. If you want to follow my blog on Tumblr about anime stuff, that is Tenzo-Taicho. Tenzo-Taicho.
We were just holding back laughter at anime.
Yeah, I think that
The infantilization of society.
that covers it.
As long as you don't tell me when to listen to Christmas music. Guys, thank you
After
for watching,
Thanksgiving.
and I hope you're having a great day. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving, and we will see you next week.
Thanks for listening.
Have a good life.
Goodbye.
I love you.